So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel. I truly believe this may be one of the most valuable videos that you will ever watch on YouTube. Now I know that's a very bold claim. So as you would have seen, this video is around 3 hours, a little bit over 3 hours. And the reason being is because it's an actual live Q&A call that I pulled directly out of the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program. And within this live Q&A call, as I say, we basically cover absolutely everything. We cover everything from email deliverability and how you can essentially increase your email deliverability when it comes to, outreach for your agency. So then obviously every other metric then drastically increases. We cover copywriting and how to write copy in a way that really hooks readers in, for your clients, right? How do you write client ad copy so that, you can really spark their attention in their customers, how you do the first line and how that then transitions into the second line and throughout the rest of the copy. If you can get ad copy down packed for your clients, I mean, the results are just a natural byproduct of that, crazy results, all these crazy results that you see that my agency produces for our clients. A big part of that is ad copy. We cover that in this video or in this call. And also, I cover something that I never really speak about on the channel because I'm not a huge advocate of it, which is mindset. And, I'm not a huge advocate of the typical, affirmations and stuff like that. And actually in this call, I explain why I'm not. And I actually explain the methods that I personally use that have helped me progress from literally zero to, as I say, 50, 60K a month now, which is where I'm at currently. So yeah, we cover absolutely everything in this Q&A call. Now, just before we jump into the direct call itself, I do want to mention that right now I am running a Black Friday sale, discount, whatever you want to call it, for the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program. Now, this is something that I literally never usually do, right? If you follow me for any length of time, you'll know that I never run sales on the program. One of the most common questions I get is, Kai, is there a sale coming up on the program? How can I get in? Is there any way to get a discount on it or whatever? Every time I say no. And the reason being is because already, so the price of the program is $497, right? $497 US. And the reason I never run sales on it is because it's already so severely underpriced. And that's not me just saying that, right? I know it is anyway, but I can say it is without it actually being underpriced. But right now at the point of recording this is around 270 members of the program. And as I say, that is coming directly from them, right? So many students of the program literally have a go at me. They tell me off because it's so severely underpriced. People, like with an agency, obviously you guys know when you sign on a client, you sign them on for 3 months minimum ideally, and then obviously you want them to, kind of stay on for 12, 18, 24 months, whatever it is. And so, you could sign one client for $1,000 a month, which is bare minimum. And in the first month, you've 2x'd your investment, right? But the thing is that a lot of people forget that client then pays you again another 1,000 next month and next month and next month. And that's the lowest client. And that's only one client. So imagine if you stack up a couple 3.5K a month clients, right? The return that students get on the program is absolutely insane. As I say, that's not me saying that, that's literally hard facts, right? And it's, as I say, it's coming from, what the students tell me inside of the program. And obviously, if any of you follow me on Instagram, you can see I always post updated kind of, not testimonials, not like video testimonials. I don't really push too much for those, but it's just more what students message me privately about, they've signed a new client. Literally, I had a student reach out to me this morning. He's literally, in the last week, he's generated 12,500 per month, monthly recurring revenue in 1 week, right? It's insane. So basically, my point is, I'm currently running a Black Friday sale for the program. Usually $497, I'm running a 20% off discount. One time, I never do this. I'm kind of a little bit annoyed at myself that I'm even doing it now because, as I say, even at $497, if anything, I should be increasing the price of the program rather than decreasing it, but 20% off because I know so many of you guys want to get in, but sometimes $497 is a little bit too much, if you just start and you've got no money. So currently it is $397, and yeah, it's going to be running for roughly a week, so make sure you get in. As I say, this will be the cheapest you'll ever be able to join the program for, and I'm probably never going to run a discount of this nature ever again, just being very transparent and honest with you guys. So yeah, go ahead, click the first link in the description. Everything's automatically applied at checkout. You don't need any special codes or anything like that. First link in the description is going to take you to the enrollment page. The enrollment page is going to basically give you an idea. It's going to show you what's inside of the program, what perks come along with the program, the one-to-one mentorship that you get with myself and all that type of stuff. And then just go ahead and proceed to the order form, and that's where the discounts automatically apply. So as I mentioned, one time 20% off discount is going to be running for roughly a week. And yeah, With that being said, super excited to see all of you guys inside of the program. And what actually, once you do enroll into the program, so this video is obviously made up primarily of the Q&A call that I've pulled directly from the program. And once you enroll, you'll actually be able to attend those calls and we'll be able to speak one-to-one as well. And obviously all of the other bonuses and content and the modules and whatnot that comes as part of the program. So with that being said, I'm really excited to get you part of the community, and hopefully I can speak with you on next week's Q&A call. We have a 2 to 3 hour call every single week. So without further ado, I know it's a bit of a longer intro, I apologize for that, but just really wanted to show you guys an amazing opportunity to get your agency started. And even if you're at 10K a month, you can still go into the program, and that will get you to 30K a month. I've had multiple students do that as well, and obviously 0 to 6 figures is the main goal of the program. So first link in the description, everything's automatically applied. I'm very excited to get you part of the community, and with that being said, enjoy this 3 hour long Q&A call. With that being said, let's jump straight into it. As always, any questions, problems, queries, anything of that nature, just go ahead and raise your hand or unmute yourself. Raise your hand or drop a comment in the chat, and I will go ahead and unmute you. But first up, we have Joseph.
Sweet. Hey, Kai, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you, dude?
Good, thanks, mate.
Good.
Bit of an update from last week. I actually, after asking you about the drop in sales, it just instantly went back to being normal again.
Yeah.
Which was good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was sweet.
Good,
I just got a quick question regarding retargeting.
Yeah.
So, basically what I've figured out is that I'm sure this question might have been asked before, but I'll just go ahead. So my client has asked for a funnel kind of perspective on particular products, because they have 3 main ones that they really like to sell. So, and they seem to be, for example, there's a lip oil, so a lip balm. It's what's it called? Bronzer. It's like a makeup brand. So then they want those products to be a funnel. So if in the cold audience, someone who sees the lip oil, they're introduced via the long form copy that I've created, which seems to be fine.
Yeah.
Then in the retargeting, so middle of funnel, then they see that, and then they also see a bottom of funnel. Is there a way to do that so they see the entire thing, but they don't see other ads? So I'll get to, it's a bit of a double-barreled question, but if they're in bottom of funnel, they don't see a bottom of funnel ad for a face, for a bronzer, they see it for the lip oil, for example. So
you'll have to, I'm trying to think, I think the best way for you to go about it, so you can do that, but you're going to have to do it for everything. So you won't, there's a couple ways to go about it. There is a way to do it, but essentially top of funnel, it's going to be anyone and everyone. In your retargeting, you're going to have to make sure the retargeting isn't add to cart, for example. It's people who have viewed this, or people who have viewed this video, for example, and that video is the top of funnel ad, or engage with the top of funnel ad, right? See what I mean? And then you're going to have to exclude everybody else so that they don't see duplicates, if that makes sense. So, for example, if you do, you're going to have to do it for everything. Because, for example, if you do one campaign and it's that funnel for one of those products you just mentioned and everything looks good, you've got your custom audience is retargeting people who have viewed that ad or viewed that specific product, but then you've got another retargeting over here, which is add to cart. They've still technically added to cart if that's what you're optimized. You see what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So bit of backstory then, what I tried to figure out was, let's say, for example, I'll talk from middle of funnel to bottom of funnel then, because I kind of understand your perspective. So
I was thinking of doing it particularly if it was like a page view. Sorry if the dog is barking in the background there.
You're all good.
Yeah, so if I have it like landing page, so page view and view content, or just page view for a particular product, that's middle of funnel. And then that's what I target for that. And then bottom of funnel, I would target initiate checkout and add to cart only for, but how do you know if they've initiated checkout for that product? Can you?
So you can just do by a URL.
Yeah.
This is probably the best way to do it. The easiest way to do it. Just do it by URL.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. No worries. Yeah. So do you think that's effective like how would you normally structure? Can you tell me or?
So yes, I've had clients in the past who have wanted that specific type of funnel being done, but we've never done it, to be honest. Yeah, for me, we've never done it. We've just kind of gone more broad with like just kind of like grouping as you've seen in the program, right? That's the approach that we take. I think you could try it. It's not going to hurt because, it's not going to require a lot of budget, because it's only going to be very small amount of people. So it's not going to require a lot of budget. So you can definitely try it. But yeah, my personal experience, we don't do that. As I say, we've had clients who have wanted it, but we never did it just because the usual flow has outperformed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No worries. Yeah. I think I'll give it a go for one product.
Yeah.
And then if
there's no harm in trying. As I say, it's going to be small budgets anyway. You're not going to be able to put a lot of money into it. The biggest thing will be top of funnel, but you can cap that at $30 a day or whatever. It's not going to be a lot. So I don't see the harm in trying and trying to make sure that it's all, it's hard to tell you right now because there's always caveats to it and whatnot. So you'll have to sit down and make sure that it makes sense, right? But yeah, overall, I'm not too sure how effective it would be or how scalable it would be, but it's worth a try.
Yeah. All right. No worries. Yeah. Cheers. That's probably about it.
Awesome, dude. No worries.
Thank you.
No worries, dude. Sebastian.
Hey, Kai. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm also pretty well.
Good.
My question is, this week I had my first sales call, as I mentioned it, at the last call, I moved to global, to English client. And so it was my first call and it was like pretty smooth. I liked it way more than in Germany,
Okay.
They all say, ads. No, I don't know that. And don't, know what you think about that. But to come to the point, it was like 15 minutes. And, I really did everything I could have done, really showing her everything. She's currently working with an agency. She's spending 15K per month in the ads. I mean, I have to mention that her average order value is by 300 to 500. However, they're only running 11 ads. And I said that we would do is much more testing, because this is, what shows you what works and what doesn't work. And so I really showed her everything, what we do, how we do it, what's the goods in our agency. And we would charge like 1 to 2K more than the other agency. And they're stuck in like with 3.5 to 4 ROAS. And she says he has to go over the 4x ROAS in order to get things done with the profit margin, and so she was like, she really said that she was like pretty nervous because she don't know if she should go with me, because then if we're not really what we say, she has to go back with her agency, which is she currently with 1 year and stuff. So she said she wanted to tell me that per email. Then I did a new approach, I said, does this idea make sense to you? What do you feel about me, about the company, what we have gone through now in the call? So at the second approach, I said, okay, that's fine for me. And she will message me by the end of this week, because I said regarding Black Friday and other clients and stuff. So how do you handle like this situations where client like fearful of that that this is not something that would work? Or I mean, I've shown everything, results, and I've talked about past clients and how to increase stuff, and we have really gone deep to it and what we would do, and really how to structure the copies and stuff like that, because she's doing the copies, not the agency. And really with all the benefits, like it would free up a lot of time, like really edit everything. How would you handle that to not get rejected like in that kind of way?
Honestly, I want to go back a little bit. You mentioned that she needs to really be at a 4 ROAS for what reason?
Because I mean, she said because her profit margin of her, you know, she's selling like luxury shoes, and their average average order value is at 300 to 500. So she said, in order to get things better with her, to get more things and to get more things to ship, she said that she has to go over the Forex ROAS, and she has spoken about with her agency, and they said they do what they can, and they really mentioned it, you know, that if she want to scale up with that, she has to change something, you know.
To be honest, I wouldn't bring her on as a client.
Not
if she needs a 4 ROAS to it doesn't sound like she needs a 4 ROAS to break even. I don't know exactly the reason she needs a 4 ROAS, but yeah, having a 4 ROAS as like a benchmark, as having that as like a number that you need to hit in order for, it sounds like, for the business on her end to make sense, or whatever it is, whatever the reason behind she genuinely needs a 4 ROAS, it doesn't matter. It's a 4 ROAS. That's terrible. It's too high, put it that way, right? You know, if she had a break-even ROAS of like 1.5 to 2, then at 4 ROAS, she's going to be printing money. And, you know, for a client of that nature, I wouldn't, you know, forget those things, forget she needs a 4 ROAS. Let's say, for example, she's at a 1.5 or a 2 ROAS break even, whatever it is. I would want to bring that client on board, not to increase the ROAS, but to take that 15K to 60K whilst maintaining that 4 ROAS as much as possible. You know, I would look at bringing them on board in order to scale them up whilst maintaining a healthy CPA.
Yeah, 100%.
Not to increase the ROAS even more, because a 4 ROAS is good. Like, you know, you see all these crazy ROASes. Obviously, you see the ROASes that we generate and whatnot, but that's only for certain clients. That's for unicorn clients, right? Yeah. A 4 ROAS is very, very good. You're putting $1 in, getting $4 back. That's very healthy. It's good, you know, given that the break-even ROAS is between 1 and 2, which majority of brands should be between, right? Usually 1.5, 2 ROAS. 4 ROAS is good. So then you need to put a focus on scaling. So that's what I would want to bring a client. You know, if a client came to me spending 15K a month at 4 ROAS, I would tell them on the sales call. I wouldn't sell them on the fact that we'll be able to get them to a 10 ROAS. Maybe we will be able to increase a ROAS, but the main goal for me bringing them on as a client would be to take that 15K to like 50K, then get things converting very well, keep, you know, maintain that 4 ROAS, then take that 50K to 75K into what, you know, scale up the budget. That's what I would do. I wouldn't bring her on board to increase that 4 ROAS even more. Not unless you've seen the ad account, you've had a look, and it's an absolute shambles. It's like, how the hell is this generating a 4 ROAS? If it's that case, then once you actually apply good marketing, then yeah, you will be able to increase the ROAS. But yeah, you know, for the most part, it doesn't sound like a great client.
No, you know, it's like we have spoken about that her agency, because I asked her, you know, have you ever talked about to increase your budget to scale it up? And she said her agency said that not gonna work because when you scale up, you lose a bit of the ROAS, and so it's pretty hard to scale. So they're not doing that. And I said to her, and the funny thing is, I really sent her and case study where we managed a client with an average order value of 300 to 500. We made up of 30K, 130K, so a solid Forex ROAS. And we said, yeah, we can do it, and we're comfortable to do that. And I, as you mentioned it before, I really tried to also pitch on kind of scaling. However, that makes 100% sense with the ROAS to get even above, because I feel like 4x ROAS is good. And so now regarding the follow-up, how would you kind of follow up when they say they really have to think about it? And it was really the case. She was like nervous. She had to do the numbers. How much would it increase her in value and stuff like that? How would you go after that? Would you send a loom after? Would it just let her think about that?
So I want to just quickly say one more thing on the ROAS and that type of stuff. Another approach that you could take, depending, right? Depending is you could chart, you know, because I know that you mentioned you're currently, or you pitched a 1 to 2K more than what she's currently paying the agency or whatever. So
just as a side note, the agency is currently getting 10% without any flat fee, and I said 2K flat fee with also 10%, you know, and she was like at the beginning little I don't know, but then she said that's fine to her because we will get her so much back when we would scale up, and that's like the things which, you know, which comes with when you just getting at a higher kind of profit sorry in the higher kind of ad spend and more work and stuff like that. So she was fine with that.
Yeah. So what my point is though, is that you could, you know, charge that, you know, if you really, really feel as though you can increase this client, you can generate her far more than what's already being generated and whatnot. What you could do is charge that 10% on top. So it's genuine performance. I've actually created a, so if you want to go down this route, I'm more than happy to share you with this Excel calculator thing that I've created. I'm going to start leveraging it in sales calls. Basically, it takes everything into account, their current results, and then it takes into account what we would do arbitrary. It's not like we're going to get these numbers, but it's just say, for example, if we get these numbers, we charge 15%, it's going to be 15% of the actual increase that we make. And as I say, I built out a calculator that really shows that, right? So then for her, it's like, you know, because if you come in and you take 10% of what's already happening, technically it's not going to be your results, you know? So you want to take 10% on top of whatever's happening in the ad account, 10% on top of that, right? You want to, that's what you've genuinely generated yourself. So you want to take 10% of that, not what's already happening in the ad account. So as I say, for clients of that nature, I've built out this calculator, and it takes everything into account. It's all plug and play. You just plug in the numbers and everything's calculated. And then at the end of it, it gives you a genuine performance base. Basically, my point is by showing them and walking them through this calculator on the sales call, they cannot argue. They can't argue. You know, it's like
100%.
There's nothing they can say. There's nothing they can say. So if you want to go down that route, I'll share that with you.
100%.
So in terms of the follow-up, right? How would you go about that? I would send over a loom. I get that a lot, like, you know, well, not a lot, but sometimes, you know, people ask about proposals. Do you do this? Do you do that? And no, right. I don't, no. But I, you know, if there's some instances where like it's a genuine client or whatever, and I genuinely know that they're trying to figure out some numbers or whatever, I'll shoot them over a loom video. It's the best way to go about it.
Okay, and just showing them the numbers and again saying how would we go about the price.
Yeah, I mean, you could even show the calculator that I'll shoot your way in that loom video as well. Walk them through.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Because as you mentioned before, going above like a 4x ROAS, I mean, 4x is good. So that would also be an increased needed in order to really get us like kind of profit, because I've agreed with my media buyer that when he manages over 5K per month, I pay him 1,000. Otherwise, below that, I pay him 700. So would you also speak about that in kind of increasing the ad spend?
Yeah. So in terms of that calculator, I've done it in a way that like it's based on return and it's based on spend. So, you know, I had a sales call today actually, and I was walking through it on there and I used the same numbers, but we doubled the spend, and there was still, you know, like for example, easy numbers, spend 10,000. They're currently bringing in 4 ROAS, 40,000 bringing in, right? Yeah. So if you come in and you spend 10,000 and now you generate a 6 ROAS, so that's going to be 60,000, you're going to get your percentage on that 20,000 difference, right? Yeah. But what happens if you maintain the ROAS, but you maintain the ROAS but increase the spend? Well, it still makes sense, right? Because they were spending 10,000 and bringing in 40,000, right? But now, if you spend 20,000, bring in 80,000, there's still a $40,000 difference. That's genuinely is because of you and your agency. You've generated that extra 40,000, so you still get a compensation.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
And as I say, once I'll shoot you over the camera. I can see there's a couple of people in the chat asking about it as well. So I'll put it in the group. I'll do a video. I'll do a Loom video tomorrow, or in the next couple of days, let's say, and I'll walk you guys through it. Show you. It's very basic, but I'll show you. It's super powerful. And like I say, it just it leaves no question. It's just in front of them. They can't argue it, you know? And it's very powerful. Like, for example, if you showed them this calculator, I think on the call, I think they would have been like, okay, yeah, let's do it or whatever, you know? So, yeah.
Okay, that's fair, and that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if she gets back to me in this time, let's have a look. However, I will definitely, when you make that video and explain everything and that kind of thing, send her over that and explain that with that kind of approach, because that makes so much more sense. And I never have even thought about that kind of idea. So really props to do that.
Yeah. I'm going a lot more heavy on that stuff. Majority of it is going to be in the high level program.
Okay.
Just because, it's super powerful. But in terms of these Excel spreadsheets, these calculators and whatnot, that's one of them. I've got another one for CTR and showing people, sometimes they're going to be like, well, just sometimes on sales calls, clients or prospects are like, how are you going to make things different? How are you going to increase it? We've been doing this for so much. We've been doing this for so long. We've done all this different stuff and whatnot. And yet they're still only getting like a 0.7 ROAS, 0.7 CTR, for example, so I built another calculator for showing them like, look, this is just the genuine impact. If we change nothing else, but we take that 0.7 CTR to a 1.3 even, this is the, I'm just building out a bunch of this different stuff, different flows. I'm doing an action flow and lucid chart and just all this different stuff, which basically when you show it on the sales calls, it's like they can't say anything. It's almost impossible for them to have an objection because it's so just airtight from a logistical standpoint.
100%.
This calculator is one of them, but I'm happy to share that with you guys for sure, 100%, because I think it's going to help. Trust me.
Perfect. Thanks for everything. Really, thanks for everything. That gave me really a clarity on that client and also
awesome,
future clients now. Thank you for everything.
Awesome, dude.
Hope you have a nice day. Bye.
Likewise. Cool. Hussein, I believe you snuck in just before Kareem did. So you're up next, dude.
Hey, my man, I hope the speaker doesn't go crazy this time.
Yeah, no, you should. You sound pretty good at the moment, so we should be good.
All right, sweet. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for putting an amazing program. I'm at week 7 now, and the service delivery part is just really what I needed. I've been a freelance for a few months, and this just added extra confidence, and it's just it's really solid. The only thing that I would say is missing is reporting. But I'm currently just using Supermetrics, if you use that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so that's fine. I had 2 quick questions. Firstly, on the sales calls, obviously we're pitching like for our agreement is a 3-month agreement, but on the call, like it sounds like it's a month to month, because we say, it's like in the end we say like, it's like 2,000 per month. I was just wondering, once you send over the agreement and they read it, it's a 3-month. Wouldn't they say, there's a bit of a gap, information gap? If you know what I mean?
No, because
I corporate that. Yeah.
I still mention it on the sales call. Yeah, but I do it during the, you know, when I'm explaining kind of our operations, how we go about things and whatnot. I mention it in there. You know, when I talk about like our approach and stuff like that, I say, and this is why we sign clients on board for a 3-month minimum, because look, at the end of the day, we can't come into your ad account tomorrow and get the best results that we possibly can. It just doesn't work like that, right? Because our approach is so scientific. It's based on, you know, iterations and pulling from the data that we collate and whatnot. There's a process to it, which is why we sign clients on board for a 3-month minimum. And then I, you know, continue. And so they already know. And even if they don't, I make sure that I make a point of it at the end.
Right, I see. So you do obviously include it in the call. Okay. That's fantastic. That makes sense. Yeah. So my other question is, you know, I sent you my template. My
I'm gonna get back to that tomorrow, dude.
No problem. To take your time, but I just wanted to let you know the stats under it, so it gives you more understanding. Yeah. I'm getting 83% open rate and 2% response rate and 0 booking rate.
Okay.
So I just wanted to let you know on that. So you it gives you more content, and that's pretty much it. Awesome. I just wanted to say, you know, what would you recommend someone to start doing the personalized instead of just keep making a variant of the script?
What do you mean? What, like, when do you go just fully personalized?
Yeah. At what point should I just?
To be honest, I think everybody should be doing a couple of those a day.
So have a mixture, like a mixture.
Yeah, I think so. I think also Loom videos as well. I think, you know, for example, you do your 25, for example, every day, your 20 every day. And, you know, 5 of them is Looms and personalized approaches, because it just adds in another kind of avenue for your outreach, and also it breaks it up for you as well in your day, which I find helps a lot. So you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone in doing that, especially the Loom videos as well, because you get to talk, you get to be on camera, but you're not consistently doing that, you know. But Loom, you know, cold Loom videos still do well. They're still good. It's just you can't do them at scale, because you'll just I've tried it.
You'll conk out.
It's very, very tough. But I think you should still leverage it. So, like, for example, 2 Loom videos a day, 3 personalized messages a day, and then you've got your 15 more scripted approaches.
Right. Okay. I see. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I'm just gonna hammer on that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks a lot for the Q&A.
No worries, dude. Kareem.
Yo, what up, Kai?
How are you, dude?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Have you ever gone on a call and the client the ROAS isn't a priority for them? Because I had this call this week and it was very strange. So they were already working with the agency. So I sent them an email like on Monday, and it was like a, you know, one of the like ones asking if we can send over a Loom. They didn't even reply to the email. They just went to my website and booked the call straight away. They didn't even want the Loom, which was awesome for me.
Yeah.
But then we got on the call and they said they're already working with the agency and they're happy with the results. So I was really unsure of why they booked the call.
Yeah.
And like I was like talking to them about like their ROAS and like their performance, and you know, like the ROAS, like he literally said to me, I don't really care about the ROAS right now. All I care about is getting my product in as many people's hands as possible. And I'm not really sure what he meant by that, but do you have any like experience with like a similar situation?
Yeah, I do actually. Funny you say that. I do. I've only had it once. I remember it distinctly because I remember sitting on the call and thinking exactly what you have just said. I was sat in the car. I was like, "What are you doing? What, like, where is this going?" You know. And I only figured it out like halfway through the call. It's quite a while ago. But yeah, it's like halfway through the call, and they literally told me like they were really happy with everything, and that their current agency was doing a great job, and they just left it at that. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, so yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. It doesn't happen. At least for me, it's only ever happened once. As I say, I remember it very, very well. But I just try to provide value. I just tried to get across like a couple of things that I seen from face value. You know, what I was able to pull, from what they were telling me as well on the call. In terms of their numbers and whatnot, I was just trying to help them get their numbers, you know, and give them some things that they could implement on in order to get their numbers up. They also had a problem with their operations behind the scenes. I was just giving them a hand there, but to be honest, I just pushed for to end the call essentially.
Do you know what he meant by, I don't really care about the ROAS, I just want to get my product in as many people's hands as possible? Because, you know, if your ROAS is higher, that means you're getting more sales. That means your product is in more people's hands. Not
necessarily, because, you know, you could have a 10 ROAS on $1,000 a month spend. I think that's probably more what he was thinking, right? They
were only spending 8K a month.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay.
And I was talking to them about scaling their ads, and they were talking, and they just seemed very fearful of scaling their ads because they were like, oh, we don't know if our advertising is going to resonate. We're not even really sure like who our target audience is yet, et cetera, et cetera. And
so what I would have done in that instance is I would have explained it. It sounds almost like they haven't thought about how everything goes together. Like how, like you say, ROAS is a byproduct of how many people buy your product, you know, or how far your dollar goes, right? How far each dollar goes. Yeah. Does it go 4x or does it go 10x? That difference is how many more people buy your product from that $1, right?
Wait, but one thing to add though is that, sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to note that their product, it's like a CPG brand. Like they make it's like these potato chips, but it's made out of like chicken breast, which is like very weird, I know. But my only guess is that maybe like they want to maximize the LTV of the customers, because I mean, you might get like a front end sale that's like unprofitable with the ROAS, but if the customer buys over and over again, like it could still be profitable. So that's like, do you think maybe that's why that's where they were going with it?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I would have just asked, thinking about it, I would have just asked, what do you mean by that? And what do you mean by that? And how is that not what we're trying to do with ads? With ads, we're trying to scale up the spend and get the best ROAS possible for that spend. That's kind of the idea of ads. Does that not naturally mean your product's going to get into more people's hands? Like, you know, I would have literally said that. Does that not mean your product's going to get into more people's hands? When you say you just want your product in as many hands as possible, what do you mean by that? How is that not congruent with scaling your ads? You know, I would have just said that and really just try and dig deep into what he specifically means.
Got it. Also, like their ROAS expectations were like very low. Like they were like, yeah, our goal ROAS is like a 2 to 3 ROAS, and which is like not hard to get.
Yeah.
Assuming everything is in place, and like I think we could have like blown them away, considering like they actually have like a product with like a unique selling point. It's not just like a normal bag of potato chips, because like if it's just normal potato chips, there's no reason someone's going to buy it.
How did it end?
So eventually got to the point where they were like, what can you do for us? And like I don't think my pitch really resonated with them, because like I didn't do a good job of like taking what were their pain points and like structuring a script, or like structuring a pitch about that, which I also have a question about after this. And they were like, it sounds like it doesn't. They were like, it sounds like it's not a whole lot different from what our agency does right now. And then they, so I just like was like, hey, do you want some advice about like scaling your ads? And I was like, so scaling your ads is all about taking your offer and framing it in a way where it's going to resonate with as broad of an audience as possible. Like that's what I told them, because I was like just watching this Alex Becker video, and that's what he said.
Yeah.
And then I like emailed them over like an example of like a creative that we used for the that one client I did have, to kind of like explain what that would look like, because they asked for an example, and then that call ended.
So you could still follow up potentially with him and talk about like the potential ROAS. You know, if he thinks only a 2 to 3 is achievable, then, you know, maybe it is for his brand. You don't know until you start to run ads after like 2 months, then you'll kind of really see what ROAS he's, you know, they're able to get. But I mean, definitely higher than a 2, right? At least for it to be good, and a profitable kind of relationship, a good client. So you could still, you could still send him a Loom video every now and then, maybe every 2 months, for example, and just walk through a new case study that you've got, or some new ideas and whatnot that produce 4, 5, 6, 7 ROAS, you know, and really show him the possibilities, and tie it back in with a couple of things that he said. But other than that, sounds like a unique sales call, let's say.
Yeah, it was unique for sure.
Yeah, it's good to have them though.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I was gonna ask, because like obviously you talk about how you can't be too scripted on the call with, you know, your pitch. You have to frame it in a way in which you have to have a pitch that resonates with the pain points of the prospect. So like if you have a prospect who their pain point is communication or lack of thereof with the current agency,
you
have a pitch that's all about how you're going to get them amazing results, amazing ROIs. It's not going to resonate. So how do you figure out that pitch that how do you figure out a way to like come up with a new pitch on the fly like that?
So it's not about it's not as black and white as that. You know, you don't want to close them based on how your communication is, right? Because you could have the best communication in the world, but if the results aren't there, it doesn't matter. You know, so it really is results and the value that you will provide them and the return that they're going to have, right? We always look at ads as we spend 1,000, we bring in 5,000, right? It's always in terms of ROAS, but you got to look at it from a business owner's perspective. They're going to be paying you 2,500 plus or 5,000 service fee plus 5,000 ad spend for the first month. So their investment is $10,000. What's their ROI going to look like from that? You know, if that isn't there, but the communication's really good, it's just not enough, you know? So it's not as black and white as that. But you do want to drop it in. You do want to just talk about it, right? Because the best thing, honestly, the best thing you can have in sales calls is when you're talking, you're going through a spiel or whatever, you're answering their questions and whatnot, and then they say about yeah, look, that's what I really like. Like our current agency right now are doing this, this, and that, and it's just not good. But obviously what you just touched on there, that's exactly what we're looking for. You know, when they say something like that, it's perfect. It's so good. And so that's what you're chasing. It's not like, that's what you're trying to chase. And the way that you do that is by touching, whether it's very, very evidently or just subtly touching on their pain points. Either way, it can work just as well. But that's what you want to try and achieve.
Yeah, I just feel like with that, because my pitch was like, first I talked about like how our area of expertise is like, so I said our area of expertise is helping DTC e-com brands that are doing about 30 to 50K scale to, 7 and 8 figures, because they're like doing 30 to 30K right now.
Yeah.
And then I said, so what we're going to do is build out a bulletproof sales process for you. Then really craft a message that really resonates with your audience, and blah, blah, blah. And like, last thing I think I said was like, scale your ads. And it didn't really resonate with them. They were like, oh, I feel like this isn't very different from what our agency already does. But I feel like if I talked about how, because they were like, oh, our store already has a 2% conversion rate, which I don't think is that good. But anyways, am I like wrong saying that?
It's I've seen better, of course, but it's not terrible.
Oh, okay.
You can work with a 2% conversion rate.
Okay. So I feel like if my pitch was more like, if I talked about how number one, we're going to help them find exactly who their customer target audience is. Number two, increase the ROAS at the current spend. And number three, maintain that ROAS as we scale spend. I feel like my pitch would be a lot more resonant with them, and it would actually, I would have had a better chance of closing.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, but the problem is like I only I thought about that like after the call. So like,
I mean, you can have a structure there. And you know, when I talk about kind of our approach and whatnot, and this is what I'm building these flows for, so I can really just show them on the screen. This is why every client we bring on that's genuinely of the highest qualification, everything's perfect, product market fit, a proof of concept, all that stuff. This is why it works so well, because it's science, right? And it's these iterations, and it's this, and you know, I've built out an action flow. That's actually what I was working on today. You know, so there's always going to be that. But what I just mean, when you're talking, you want to make sure, you want to take notes down, and you want to make sure that you're touching on what they've said. That's their biggest problem right now. Because if they can't see that that's going to get solved, there's no point in them moving forward. For example, if they're, you know, using the communications idea that you just mentioned, if they're working with an agency right now where the results are pretty good, but they just cannot stand working with them because the communication's not there, they don't like the personalities, or whatever it is, right? If you then talk about results, only talk about results, and you don't mention anything about operations and how it is, then there's no point in them moving agency, because it's going to be the exact same thing. It might not be, right? Because you actually do have communication locked in and whatnot, but from what they can see from face value, from what you're telling them, they feel as though it's just going to be the exact same thing. So why would they move over? You need to give them a strong reason. Another good way to, you know, it sounds like this client was saying like, I don't know how you're going to change results. I don't know how you're going to do X, Y, and Z. I would get them to pull up their ad account and walk you through it so you can see the numbers. That's always really, really powerful, because you can identify that right there. That should not be at that level. You're currently getting a full ROAS with a click-through rate of 0.8, for example, right? It's completely arbitrary, but you get the idea, right? If they've got a 0.8 click-through rate, but they're getting a full ROAS, you can really leverage that fact. You can really leverage that kind of, you can use it as an anchor, basically. You can say like, look, a 0.8 ROAS is terrible. You're currently getting a 0.8 ROAS with a $2.70 cost per click, right? You should, in those instances, you can say like, you're currently getting those numbers, but you're still getting a full ROAS. That's amazing, but these numbers are terrible. The reason being is because your ads aren't resonating, and the audiences, you're just not showing ads to your most ideal customer. Ideally, you want that cost per click to be around $1, and that CTR to be, you know, 1.5 and above, ideally 2 and above, right? So you can really touch on that, and you kind of set their current numbers as an anchor, and you just show them why like they just can't continue with those numbers, because they are just simply not hitting their potential. And you can talk about, and then you can kind of layer in how your approach is different, and you can kind of layer your features in at that point.
Got it.
And talk about how you do get $1 cost per click or under for all of your clients. It's because X, Y, Z. And that X, Y, Z just isn't evident in your ad account right now, which is why you're losing out on a severe amount of money. And then, for example, this is why I've built out, and that was just an example, but this is why I've built out that CTR calculator, right? So then I can pull that CTR calculator up and just show them, like, look, keep everything the same, your CPMs, your reach, and it's all in this calculator. And you can just say, like, keep everything the same, take that CTR to what it should be, and look at the difference. And then that difference usually, depending on the numbers and whatnot, but I had it. I used it in today's sales call as well, and the difference was like $40,000 to $50,000, and that alone more than makes up for like our service fee increase or whatever it would be. So by doing that, you just, going back to what I said before, it's stupid for them to not move forward.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Also, I wanted to ask you about email deliverability, because this is like the third email I've gotten or I've made, and it's like this week the deliverability went down again. I noticed like the open rate went down, the reply rate went down like yesterday or like the day before, and I am kind of wondering, like, do you guys have like a SOP you use to like for when this happens or to prevent this? Because like it keeps happening to me and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, because I have like I have DMARC and DKIM and SPM set up. I don't send like more than 25 outreach emails a day. The most I would say I would send is 65, but that's because Lemlist has like this feature where like they automatically like have like these email conversations between you and like other Lemlisters to like warm up your email. So I had that turned on to like 40 emails a day. So I had that like 40 plus the 25, that's 65. So like I'm not sending more than 65 emails at the most. And I'm not doing anything weird.
So are you seeing that your deliverability is going down? Are you physically seeing that, or is it just
my open rate went down. I did a Glock apps test. You know Glock apps, right?
Yeah.
The spam rate was 60%.
Ooh.
And I even emailed myself to like my personal email and it went to spam.
So what I would do is I would look at getting some burner accounts, put them through the month. I'm pretty sure there's a month thing on Lemlist. I'm going through that right now with 2 new domains. And we get to finally start. I'm super excited. We get to finally start ramping back up December 3rd. So I'm pretty sure there's like a month thing. I've got 2 burner accounts currently. So it's baxconsulting.info, baxconsulting.net, but they automatically redirect to baxconsulting.com, which is the website. And then you've got like 2 burner accounts and you just do it all through those. And then, ideally you could get, 3 or 4.
Yeah. This one is like, it is a burner. It is a backup domain. It's like already, and it happened like super fast. So like, I just feel like it keeps happening to me again over and over again. You know?
Well, you could potentially just lay off, one thing that this happened to me as well, not too long ago actually, and it actually happened to an appointment setter as well. And we just laid off outreach for, I think, 7 to 14 days. And then we slowly ramped back up again, went back through the ramping process, and it was fine. It went back to completely fine. Okay. But in your case, I would get like 2 more burner accounts anyway. It's not going to hurt. It's not even that much either. And put those through that month warming up process with Lemlist, and then go through that. Got it. Because also then you're not relying on one domain to deliver at the highest level. You got a bunch.
Got it.
And also quickly, you can then lay off this current domain for 14 days. It's not going to affect you either.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I think that's all the questions I had. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No worries. All right, Camille, I see your question in the chat, dude, from before. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good, good.
Hi. I just want to say I'm currently in, I think, week 3, starting week 3. I want to say, yeah, it's really in detail, more than I expected. I have some quick questions for you. So I'm currently going through the process of looking to bring on a media buyer, and I started to post in different groups. If anyone shows interest, I'll send them the job form. But a lot of the groups have like specific rules of not posting, like they don't allow posting of job posts, and I've been banned from 3 already. Is there any other way or any other places that you think you can go to find media buyers?
Yeah, for sure. So what you can do in these groups is you can, some groups are made specifically for, for example, Ad Buyers Job Board. They've recently updated their rules, which is why, like banning and whatnot in that group's very, very frequent at the moment. So you just need to go about it in a bit of a different way. You just need to write a job post in a way that, for example, this is specifically for Ad Buyers Job Board, in a way that they want their posts to kind of be written, right? And the ideas that they don't want you bring somebody on for $600 per month per client. They don't want that style of stuff. What they want is like actual e-commerce companies going to that group and finding a media buyer. So you need to just structure your post in a bit of a different way, but you can still leverage that. Other groups that media buying groups and Facebook advertising groups and whatnot. The best way to go about finding, media buyers in those groups is look through the posts and see who's been commented on e-com. Somebody asked a specific question, for example. You can look in the comments, see who's commenting, and you may be able to find a good media buyer that way. I've heard Reddit is another really good place to find some strong talent. And then you've also got things like Upwork as well. You need to make sure your qualifying process on there is a little bit more strict because of the just the nature of it, right? But yeah, those places, for example, as I say, Facebook ads, a Facebook group still work amazingly well. You've just got to go about it in a bit of a different way, but definitely try Upwork, but also Reddit. I've heard Reddit recently has been really good.
Yeah, because I've used your template, the one in the video. I changed it a little bit, and I was getting responses to it, and I just checked it today, and I went into the group, but it wasn't available, so I got the hint that I got banned probably from it. I was going to ask you, so how you say how you advise to you can leverage your media buyers case studies if you don't have your own. Since I don't have one yet, for my email scripts, my call to action for all 3, I'm planning on, I'm doing looms, and then after that, if they're interested, I'm going to pitch the call on the actual loom after I show them, like, for example, like what they're currently doing and where they can improve. I'm just thinking, for the second email, what would you focus on in terms of like to deliver the call to action? So for example, in the first one, I have like a compliment, then I go into explaining a little bit about myself, and then I let them know that I have some valuable information for them that I can convey or send them over via Loom. But then on the second one, I get a lot of people opening up the email like a few times, but then with the second email, do I just ask, I've seen that you've read my email a few times, do you want me to send you over a Loom? Or
yeah, so you want to empathize on that second email. Say that you understand you're probably coming across as another one of those agencies and whatnot. You want to leverage that because that's super powerful, and as I say, you're just kind of empathizing with the prospect, and then take a different approach to the Loom, right? Because your initial approach didn't resonate. That's why they didn't respond. So on that second email, you can kind of open up with that, like empathizing with them, you understand and whatnot. And then I would then go into into really just showing why there's no downside for them to just respond with a yes. You know, you can say like, for example, you know, like, you know, you could say something along the lines of the fact that like the Loom video is going to cover strategies that have literally taken a brand from this to that. And, you know, you're even going to chuck in a couple new audience or a couple untapped audiences or unknown audiences or whatever, you know, to make it sound sexy, right? A couple unknown audiences that really nobody knows about, but they always warrant the highest return. Literally just a quick 10-minute, you know, you just want to try and limit the downside as much as possible and just show like how valuable the video could actually be. And then you can kind of see what the response is. And that's where you can then, you know, if, for example, you get an email and they've opened it like 5, 6, 7, 8 times, are super interested. That's when you can kind of substitute that retargeting video idea that we talk about in the program with the Loom video itself. And just on the Loom video, just open up and say, look, I completely understand that you didn't respond in regards to the couple emails that I said about asking you if you wanted to see this video. But honestly, James, I really don't want you to miss out on it. And, you know, worst case scenario, you're going to finish this video and you're going to have at least 4 actionable things that you can implement or whatever it is. You know, that's how you can open up the Loom video and then you can get into the actual case study.
Yeah, because I don't have a case study right now, so I'm just thinking of obviously until I bring in a media buyer that will be able to use his case studies as a leverage. But that's why I was thinking just to come in with the Loom videos.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be the case study; it can just be the valuable Loom video. Yeah.
And have you ever like come across where you've sent them, like, for example, like, so with my Loom videos, like I take about 10-12 minutes, like a 10-12 minute video, and I actually give him like a lot of information. Like I just don't give a brief scan. Like I actually go up, open up their ads manager, tell them what I would change to tell them this, and like how basically what I would do if they brought us on as an agency. Have you ever come across where they like just open the video, watch it a few times, and they don't respond? Basically, like, run with it. They just run with your information. Has that happened to you before? Yeah,
it has. You can follow up with those prospects though, because obviously, again, it shows you that they're interested. But it's not often. It's not often that they're going to watch it with that intent. You know, to like watch it and steal your ideas and then go and tell their current ad buyers to do this or whatever. And even if they do, dude, honestly, if your stuff actually works and they see an increase using what you've gone through, to be honest, that's kind of what you want, because they're gonna come running back.
Yeah, no, it's happened. It's happened twice. I've seen these two prospects. They watched the video like 2 or 3 times, and I followed.
That's a good sign for you, to be honest. I would try and sell that call a little bit more at the end of the Loom video, but it's a good sign for you that you're on the right track in terms of what you're talking about, the value that you're going through. It shows that there's a market there for that kind of information.
And I was just going to ask you, do you know in the module when you talk about bring on team members, you go into a detail on like what to look for in a particular media buyer. Is there anything extra that you would add? Like, is there, like, for example, like when you were hiring your media buyer, like, was there any particular characteristics or traits that you were looking for? Like, because I got some responses on the job post I sent to some of the people, and a lot of them, they were like entrepreneur in a way. They were like doing it with a bunch of clients. Like I would just be part of their group of other people that like that they work for. But there's also a couple of like college students. Would you say like a college student would be better than, like, for example, like they would do this as on a part-time, like they prefer doing it on a part-time?
Yeah, so that one's a tricky one. The idea of a college student is good, especially if what they're doing at college or uni or whatever is like data stuff or like very analytical. That would be perfect. it obviously it's a little bit tough because it's like, well, yeah, like you say, part-time, are they going to have the adequate amount of time and whatnot? But that's obviously what you'll have to speak with them about specifically, because it's going to change from person to person. The other things that I would look for is just, my biggest thing is initiative. That's super, super important to me, because you know, you want your media buyer to, or really any team member, you want them to ask you how, you know, what should I do here? What should I do there? But you don't want them to ask you every single little thing. You know, you don't want them to, or you don't want them to only act on what you tell them to do. For example, if there's like 3 ad sets in an ad account that are just very evidently not working, you don't want them to just wait until you tell them to turn them off. You don't want that. You want them to have an initiative. They turn it off, and then they look at the data that those have produced, and then they've been able to figure out, okay, why haven't these worked? Okay, it's the audience, and it's because this audience, yes, it entails males 30 to 50, which is our target audience, but it's more males who prefer, you know, for example, on a Friday night, they would rather, you know, just, or even after work on every single day, at 5 p.m, they don't come home and try and better themselves. Rather, this type of person just comes home, kicks back, has a beer, and just watches Netflix all night, and then just goes to bed and repeat. You know, that's why this audience didn't work as well. And our product, the target audience of the actual product, it's slightly more, I don't want to say intelligent, but like more people who, I suppose, again, have an initiative for life, you know, whatever it is, right? I've a bit of a tangent, but that's what you want them to do. You want them to be able to pull that stuff without you having to tell them to do that.
Okay.
So that initiative is super important for me. And yeah, I mean, obviously you've got the main things like honesty and loyalty, you know, you got those things. But I think for me, the biggest one that like maybe you didn't think of before is most definitely initiative.
And what would you say if they, for example, if they mention, oh, have you any clients, and you let them know that you're currently outreaching, but you don't have any clients yet, and they say, well, you know, I'd only work with you if you have clients.
Yeah, well, you can just tell them that you're going to bring them on board for your next client.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And in terms of also, I know before you mentioned about them having clients on the side. I don't think that's a big deal. You know, if they've got like 8 clients, 9 clients, I think that's, yeah, probably not. But if they've got 2 clients that they're managing right now, that's probably better, because it means that they're in the trenches daily already. They're up to date. They didn't have 1 client last year that they killed it for. It's like, no, they've got 2 clients right now that they're killing it for. So you'll be able to see active client ad accounts first thing. And you'll also know that they're up to date. They're able to get results today in 2020. You know, I don't think that's a big deal, but obviously once it's like 10, 15 or whatever, then it's like, yeah, that's not a good fit.
I was just going to ask you just one more question. I've heard somewhere, you know, on Facebook, on your business page, that Facebook prefers if a business page has about 5,000 page likes, then your CPM would be cheaper. It
does favor it. It's not like a $20 CPM instead of a $40 CPM. But yeah, it definitely helps. It's the same idea with like ads that have social proof. An ad that that has 1,000 likes is going to get better metrics than CPMs than an ad that has 10 likes, for example. Same idea.
Because I try to create. So I have my business page, and I'm trying to create just 5. I think the maximum is 5 ad accounts, but it's being blocked. And I looked into it, and apparently you have to spend. I think it's like when you firstly have to run ads for them to allow you to open up your spare for extra 4, because I have 1.
I don't think it's a lot though.
Do you know? Yeah, I was gonna say, do you know what the limit on that is?
I may be wrong with this, but I'm literally pretty sure it's like $10 or something. It's just you need to make a payment. So what you could do in that instance is literally just run some like campaigns. Then you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, building up your Facebook likes and getting those payments going through. And that'll open it up. I don't think it's like $1,000 or $100 or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be all. Thanks, man.
Awesome, dude. No worries. All right, Antonio.
Hi, Kai.
How are you?
So I have a little question. So yesterday I was working on creating an evergreen contract. So I know that you will upload a contract template in the future, all this stuff. But right now, so I have created a contract, an evergreen contract for a flat fee. But I don't know if I have to include in the contract apart for ROAS deals. I don't know. So
the agreed on pricing structure, and then you've got your sales call as the evidence for that. Okay.
So because I don't know if I have to I don't know, create a contract for the flat fee, and so mention in a general way. I don't know what I can say. So like we can discuss of the ROAS deal in another contract. Or I don't know, because you know, there are some cases in which you can I don't know, you can make
for
a
example,
ROAS deal, right?
If you're on the sales call and you say for the first 3 months we'll do 2K, but then at the end of the 3 months we'll kind of like renegotiate, and that leaves it open for you to have a ROAS deal in place. How do you say that in the contract?
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't need to say that in the contract. You just say on the agreed on the agreed pricing structure, and then in 3 months you renegotiate, and you know you have another call, or you just discuss it on the next bi-weekly call. And dude, to be honest, like if you know, you again, obviously you've got that initial sales call anyway as the evidence of you saying that to the client if they get weird about it, but they won't. You know, if it does get to that point, the reason you will be saying about a percentage of ROAS is because you're getting good results, and the client will know that. And if you state that in the initial call, then they're going to be more than fine with that, and they're not going to leave you because, as I say, you're getting them good results at that point. And if they don't want to do it, no worries, you stop your service.
Okay, so you don't have to mention it in the contract?
No.
Okay, perfect. Okay, no, I ask you that because there are some cases in which you have the possibility to make a ROAS deal right from the start of the 3 months, and some cases in which you can make a ROAS deal, but after the 3 month minimum. I don't know if you understand.
I don't understand, sorry.
Okay, so no, I ask you that because if I have I don't know, if I am on a sales call with a client, like first client, and I have the possibility to close it right from the start, both flat fee and ROAS deal right from the start. So in some cases in which you can close a client, but you can add on top the ROAS deal only after 3 months. So it's the same thing. So you don't have in any case to mention it in the contract.
Well, that's still included in the pricing structure. When you say, you know, the agreed upon pricing structure, well, in that situation, the agreed upon pricing structure was 5K a month plus 15% ROAS. That was the pricing structure. With the other version, when there is no ROAS, well, then the agreed upon pricing structure is 5K a month. You know what I mean? The phrase pricing structure just entails whatever it is. So you don't need to differentiate it or anything like that.
Okay, so you can make an evergreen contract in which you, I don't know, you can say from the price we agree and stop.
At least that's what I do. Yeah. That's what I do.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. No worries. Paulo.
Hey Kai, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. So, quick question about hiring. Just for you to have some context, right now I have 2 clients and I'm making around 2,000 per month with my agency.
Nice.
And I wanted to know if it is a good idea to bring on someone to do the lead sourcing for me, because it's taking a lot of time, like all my mornings, and I'm not being very effective. So maybe hiring someone and I focus on outreach exclusively. What do you think?
How much do you say you're making?
At 2,000 a month.
Yeah, for sure. You can bring somebody on board. You can bring somebody on board for like $50 a week or something, like 200 a month.
50. Do you think they will be motivated and happy with like 200 a month plus like 500 every time I close one of the clients they added to my list?
I wouldn't do that for the lead sourcer. You'd only want to do like a commission deal with with an end-to-end appointment setter.
Okay, perfect. So I can bring him on a like flat fee, and then I train him to be my full-time appointment setter, and then I give him the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Awesome. No worries, dude. Cool. Solhadin. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Hello.
Hey, Kai.
Hey, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm good, and you, man? How's it going?
Good.
So I had a Facebook ads question in terms of the creatives. How often would you say that we have to refresh the creatives, or any signs that we can look for inside of the ad account to know when we have to refresh and get new creatives going?
So frequency is a big one of that. You don't want the same ad to be seen all the time, because the ROAS is going to dip at that point. So that's always a good sign. If your top of funnel stuff is like more than 1.6, 1.7 and above frequency, then you need to get onto refreshing. But as a rule of thumb, you want to do, if your spend's like below 1,000 a day, as a rule of thumb, you probably want to be rotating in new creatives like 3 to 5 times a month.
3 to 5 times a month. And like say our current spend for the cold ads is 200 a day. Mm-hmm. So how often would you say that we'd have to refresh the cold ads?
Probably 3 to 5 times a month. But also it's based on the results as well in the ad account. One of the things that we always do, for example, if we start to see results declining over a 3-day slope, it's like, oh, it's not as good as it once was. We do a creative reboot and things just go back to normal, or it's sometimes even better, right? So yeah, I would say maybe once a week, a new creative a week, a new creative. Yeah, on average, maybe a new creative a week. You're not going to go wrong. My mic. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me? Okay. Was it your mic then? Let me try again. Hello?
Sorry for that, man. I muted myself on this thing.
No.
But yeah. Okay, yeah, so I got that. For one of the retargeting ads I've been running, it's getting like a 4.6 frequency, but the ROAS is still there. Like it's like still killing it. So what would you recommend in that situation? Should I refresh getting new creatives or keep it
Yeah,
running?
I mean, you should always do that anyway. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is ROAS.
Okay.
That's the most important thing. So if that stuff's on point, just keep doing what you're doing. It's working.
Okay. Yeah. And in terms of the ads themselves, right? Like if, for example, when you're looking inside of the ad library, right, it shows, okay, that you're running 14 ads, right? But inside the actual ad account, it's like probably like 30 ads or like 24 ads. So what do you do to sort of get like more ads running, if you get what I'm asking? Is it
in the ad library?
Yeah, I mean, like for example, in our email outreach, right? When we're on the sales call, we would tell the potential client that, hey, you're only running like 20 ads. So do you get where I'm going with that?
Yeah. How do you get that number to like 100?
Yeah, basically. Just
more ad sets with different types of ads. With different ads being run at the same time, always making sure that you're testing, you're adding in that one new creative a week into your winning stuff. You're trying different copy with this image and that, you know what I mean? Just having that consistent testing process always happening and making sure that is fueling your scaling campaigns. Bear in mind, that's just top of funnel, right? Then you've got middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, but I don't know if you are thinking all on these lines, but don't feel, for example, with your current client, or that one current client that you're talking about with the good ROAS, don't look at their ad library and see that they're at, I don't know what they're at, but say if they're only at 11, you said before, don't think, how can I get this to 20? At that point, it doesn't matter. You can see the back end, you can see that the ROAS is good. The only reason we look at ad libraries is because that's the closest we can get to looking at that ads manager from face value. So that's why we leverage that, right? But if it's a client of yours, I don't know how many ads like each individual client's running for me right now. I don't really care, to be honest, because I know.
Yeah. So you said so every time you're throwing in a new creative, do you throw that into the testing campaign or can you throw that into the scale campaign?
So ideally, you want to be putting it into the testing campaign, and then seeing how it's going, and then you can put the winners into your scaling.
So then, when we're not testing, that campaign will be off, and then when we are testing, and then we'll literally switch it on, basically.
Well, no, not necessarily, because we oftentimes have we oftentimes have ad sets. For example, in the testing campaign, we'll have ad sets in there that are running that are actually doing good numbers ROAS wise, but they're at a smaller spend, right? So we'll let those run. We're not going to turn them off, because at the end of the day, they're converting, we don't want to turn them off. They're running at a 5 ROAS, for example. So what we would do though is we're more lenient with those though. So we'll put a new ad set in there because we know that that campaign's running, that audience is working well and whatnot. So this new ad where there's only one variable changed, in comparison to the previous winning version of that, the previous winning creation of that, we can then test that new approach because we know the campaign's working, And then from there, once we're like, okay, this is working, okay, perfect. Now we can inject that into our top of funnel campaigns, and that's how you keep that constant kind of reboot of creatives. And you keep that frequency down as much as possible, and you maintain your ROAS. That's how you kind of fight those inconsistencies.
Yeah, got that. So how much of your budget would you allocate to that, to the testing campaigns?
Just enough where you can get data coming in. That's basically it. Obviously, it's going to range
on the smaller end.
Yeah, almost definitely. Yeah, because you want the majority of the budget to be scaling winning ad campaigns, because that's where you're going to get as much from that dollar as possible, which is what we want, right? So, it does depend though, right? For an info product client, I mean, usually the spend's going to be slightly lower, because yes, we're optimizing for purchases, but I mean, we want those, like, for example, if it's a webinar funnel, we want the complete registrations, which usually it's like $4, $5, maybe even $2, you know, so we can collate data quickly. And if we see something winning, we can inject it into the top of funnel stuff, or the scaling stuff. But for like an e-com client where we're spending like $100, well, sometimes it's a little, or we're optimizing for an event that's $100. Sometimes you need to spend a little bit more, but overall, it's going to be, it's definitely on the lower end. You just want to be able to collate data, see what cost per clicks it's getting, see if people are taking action more lower funnel, and that'll tell you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And in terms of, let's say, your campaign, your CBO is like at $100, right? And your ad set's getting to learning limited. And you can't increase the budget. The client's like only allocated $100 a day. What would you do in that case?
Well, it depends on what the results are like.
Well, if in the event that the results were to drop, what would you then do?
I mean, there's a lot that goes into that, but we would definitely launch a new iteration then. I just don't want you to think that, like, just because it's in learning limited, but like, oh no, that's it, turn it off. Because look, at the end of the day, I've got clients. Majority of clients have got some ad sets that are learning limited, but they're performing perfectly fine. So I don't really care, you know. But at the end of the day, it's not so much about learning limited. It's more about, if it's not working, that's fine. We'll probably launch an iteration, given that we gave it a fair test or a fair run.
Okay, got that. And in terms of your monthly, do you do reportings to your clients, like slideshows and that?
So we use Supermetrics. But I, you know, until up until this point, I was always just doing Loom videos. Actually, it got to a point where John was doing the Loom videos, so my media buyer was doing the Loom videos, and that just served as the reporting.
Okay, so basically, we could like create Google Slides and then like shoot them over a Loom video every month with that.
Yeah, you could do that. Most definitely, you could do that. What we did though is we just did a Loom video of the ad account, walking through the ad account.
Okay, like that, as simple as that. And in terms, last question. And in terms of the ROAS deal, right? How do I go about, like asking for payment for the ROAS deal? And how specifically do I calculate like my take? Is it basically just taking the total sales produced minus the ad spend? How do I go about that?
So physically billing the ROAS deal, you just want to set up. So on the, say for example, you sign a client on the 1st of the month, easy numbers, right? You sign a client on the 1st of the month. The first, every month, their automatic monthly retainer is going to come out because it's on subscription and simple invoices. Automatically going to send, automatically going to get paid. Done.
Yeah.
On the 30th of that month or the 31st of that month, that's when you're going to send a singular invoice. Make sure pay automatically is on, and you're going to send a singular invoice. I just do a Bax Consulting performance fee, Bax Consulting 15% ROAS, whatever it is. That's what I call it. And then just input whatever the amount is. How do you find that amount? That is the purchase conversion value in the ads manager minus the ad spend, that number times 0. Whatever your ROAS is. So if you got 15% times 0.15, it's 7% times 0.07.
Yeah. So basically, PayPal doesn't work here in Cape Town, South Africa. So I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Stripe doesn't work here in Cape Town, South Africa. So I have to use PayPal. So how would you go about doing that in?
I believe is it not the same as Stripe with simple invoices booking?
with simple invoices, if you're using PayPal, then you're not able to take automatic payments unless you create for the monthly recurring payments. You'd have to create a button inside PayPal. But for the invoice, I think you have to create it manually, and then they have to go in and pay themselves. So
there's gonna be a way around that. There's gonna be other payment methods that you can use. What you should do? Are you familiar with Pete Fogden in the program?
No.
So I'll message him and I'll send him over your Facebook and I'll get him to let you know what he does, because he's currently in London, but he's from Cape Town and he was running his agency in Cape Town. So I don't know what he was doing, but I know he had it on lock. So
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, that would be awesome if you could do that, because I literally, like, the agency space in Cape Town is like so small.
Yeah.
Like,
dude,
everyone's from the US, everyone's from the UK. So like, yeah, that would be awesome if you could do that.
I'll message him right now, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man. Just one last question, right? So when I signed this client on, because at that time I didn't do the automatic monthly recurring payments. So we kind of agreed on that call that from the new month, from this month, basically tomorrow, that would start the monthly recurring payments.
Yeah.
So how would you word that, like, in the Loom? How would you ask, like, that we now move to automatic payments? Or
I wouldn't worry about it. I would just get them to, as I say, I want to figure out what Pete was doing, because I don't know what the best practice is for Cape Town, right? But once you figure it out, just switch the payment over, and then it will be automatic through whatever method that you use, and then just let them know. Just literally tell them, like, look, I've actually set up the retainer as an automatic monthly payment, so we both don't need to do anything. You don't need to manually enter in your card info every single month or whatever. This doesn't mean to say that you're now locked in for a certain amount of time. If the same, it still applies. The contract before still applies if they're mid 3-month minimum. You say that still applies, or if your guys are already at rolling month by month, just say you can still opt out at any time. Just let me know.
Yeah. And if in the event that they wouldn't want to move onto the recurring payment, they'd rather prefer that you invoice them monthly, how would you? What would you do in that situation?
They shouldn't. They shouldn't. If so, just keep doing it. It's your first client that you did this with. Obviously, just know for next time. But dude, honestly, if you say it in that way, I mean, there's no reason, right? They can still opt out. They're not locked in. Nothing's changing. So you should be fine. But if so, obviously you've already said it. You don't want to lose the client over it, because they may genuinely be fine with manual payments. So yeah, just do it for this one. If it gets to that, I don't think it will, though. I think you'll be fine.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks so much. But so you mentioned for the monthly reporting that I can just go in and shoot them over Loom every month, and that should be fine.
We do them Monday and Thursday.
Okay, so basically inside the ad account, just basically telling them that everything is cool, how much we've spent, and how much you brought back in.
Just the metrics, how much you're spending currently per day, how things are looking, couple of your plans moving forward for the next couple of days, trends that you're seeing potentially, stuff like that. Just keep them in the loop.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much, Kai. It was awesome chat, man.
No worries, dude. I'll get Pete to reach out to you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
No worries. Bye. Let me save that for after. Okay. Let me answer a couple of the questions in the chat. So Hale, I still don't understand the role of ALV. I know how it is calculated, but I don't know how it can how I can use it when I'm talking to the client in the meeting. You don't really use it to sell the client or anything like that. It's just a good metric to know, because if you can bump their AOV up, that means their profit margins are going to go up per customer, right? If they have an average AOV of $50 per customer, and then you're able to get that AOV to $100, well, now you're making a lot, your ROAS is going to be double in that instance per customer that you generate, right? So it massively helps. Also, if their AOV is like $12, it's going to be hard to scale up ads, because, even though their profit margin on that AOV of $12 is like, even though they've got profit margins of like, I don't know, 90%, crazy numbers, it's still tiny numbers, the actual number of it. So it just makes running ads tough, because the numbers are so small that you've got to play with. You've got to get like, I don't know the exact numbers, but you got to get like hundreds and hundreds of sales to even be profitable. And the best way to scale up an ad account to severe numbers per day in terms of daily ad spend, it's to make more per person as opposed to getting more volume. And that's obviously where AOV comes into play. That's really all it consists of. Okay, Luke. Hey, Kai, one quick question. How would you structure a Loom video to a prospect who is running around 15 to 30 ads that are decent looking in terms of creative? Would you approach the video and say their ads aren't good and that you can improve them, or would you approach the Loom with scaling the ads? It's definitely scaling the ads. I mean, you don't want to sell a client on like, for example, going back to, I think I was speaking to Sebastian about, that a client who had a 4 ROAS and they were spending 15,000 a month. I would sell them on the fact that we'll be able to get that ROAS higher, because maybe we will, but that's not going to be the main goal, right? For example, if their ads look amazing, their copy looks really good, their imagery looks amazing, their video looks amazing, you will probably be able to create even better ads based on that data and whatnot. But I wouldn't sell them on the idea, like you said, I would sell them on the idea of scaling, and really, maintaining your ROAS, maintaining the CPA, but at 3x the spend. That's what I would focus on more with a client of that nature. Nathan, you got a question, dude. Missed you there.
Hey man, how's things?
Good, dude. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. What's the weather like up there?
Hot, dude. I got scolded the other day. Yeah, Aftersun's been my best friend for the past couple of days. So,
in the UK, the weather's actually good, but it's still only like 10, 12 degrees.
Yeah, I seen a friend of mine actually went back to the UK a couple months back, and she was posting like the sunshine and whatnot, but like in a big like jumper thing. I was like, it's crazy.
Okay, so I'll get straight into the questions. So the first question is, when finding e-com brands through Google, I see that a few businesses are running Google ads. You see them on like your search. And I open their websites in a new tab, and I follow the 6-step qualification process. And they are either running a few Facebook ads or none at all. So is this still or is this still considered a perfect prospect, or shall I just move on? Because they are running Google ads, but
most definitely.
Okay. Because even when I go on to like the 5th or 6th or even the 7th page on the Google search, you get like these ideal businesses. It sort of just makes life easier, but they're running Google ads. I wasn't sure if that would still be classed as perfect.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sort of the second question was more with the lead sourcing. So when I come to click on the e-com brands, they tick all the boxes within the qualification process, but some of the brands are running more than 30 ads or maybe even 100, like the rare occasion. However, based on my gut feeling, I can see their ads just don't look good. I mean, their call to action for example, it's product focused creatives, but they might have like learn more and their creators are just not where they could be. So shall I still reach out to these brands given that their ROAS might not be where it could be? Like it's not at, you know, the highest it could be, like the potential.
Yeah, I mean, on outreach, I wouldn't, because it is the percentage of those who are actually qualified and those who aren't, it's going to be way out of whack. Like there's going to be, you know, brands who are running 100 ads, for example, majority, yes, there may be one or two who can actually use help, but majority of them are going to be pretty rock solid. If it was an inbound lead through ads or through your, you know, or your organic content or whatever, I wouldn't. I don't look at. I mean, I look at the ads to see kind of how things are looking and whatnot, but I don't care if they're running 10 ads or 250 ads if it's an inbound lead. But for outreach, I would just try and stick to that 50 max.
Yeah, because like we covered on one of the previous calls, like, be disciplined with each step. If one of them, obviously content is, you know, a non-negotiable, that has to be down packed. But with like little things like the followers, and like as long as they're running ads, maybe they're running 31, obviously in the video in the program you say 1 to 30. Well, like I've sort of been going just outside of that bound range, even with the followers, because if they've got 16k followers and obviously they're running 31 ads, obviously that's just being a bit too disciplined, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as, so the next question, I'm not sure, a similar question to the last one really, but when I'm using Snovio, I find a lot of, well, not a lot of them, I'd probably say less than 50% of them, they pop up with like a yellow dot. Does that mean I should still reach out to them, or is it because I've been still plugging them into my Google Sheets, the yellow unverified emails?
I would just take them through an external verifier.
Because it's really strange.
They've not been verified. It's not that they're not verified; it's that they've not been verified. I believe so. Just literally search email verifier on Google and just put it through any of those that come up.
I was using Never Bounce, but another method I used, it might come in handy for other people listening to the Q&A now, is I actually go onto their LinkedIn profile and do an email search with the exact same Snovio extension. And with the first method, which is using the website, doesn't always work. But then I go to the LinkedIn profile and then sometimes it just works. And then it's the same email, but it highlights it green. It's weird. Although I've used the same software.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange, but yeah, I've been using Rocket Reach.
Those fail safes, it's powerful.
I was using Rocket Reach, but my credits have run out.
Yeah, it's expensive.
But yeah, Snovio, I think, like as you said in one of your videos, it's really like powerful, Snovio. So
yeah, it's the best I've found personally.
So the next question is really more about so yesterday I spent most of the day recording or re-recording my onboarding videos, and I've been creating some extra resources for my team member as well. Nice. And I really wanted to just ask you, what software do you use to create the material? Do you use Google Slides and just record? Because I know you have like a really nice laid out format, like you have like your presentation and then like you speak and that, like with the notes provided.
I use Keynote.
Yeah.
Okay. I use Keynote, which is Apple's like version of presentation. But yeah, I mean, Google Slides does the job as well.
So in terms of like branding, do you just have your logo on it just to make it look more authentic, if you like, you know, make it more?
Yeah, I just put the logo as on the master slide, so it's on every slide.
Okay. I'll have to have a look into that because I'm on Windows, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just use Google Slides and that's exactly the same.
Okay, sweet. So this last question is more about mindset. I put this down on paper because I thought it'd be easier to basically portray my message. But I wanted to really ask, we see all these online programs like around us, like all these gurus, but there's only a few people who succeed. Like you can literally give, let's say, hypothetically, 10 people a roadmap to success. but only one or two of them will prosper, right? So with that being said, what do you think is the key separator between someone who signs like 1 or 2 clients and someone who really goes to that like 20 to 50K per month mark with their agency, and someone who doesn't? What do you think is the key separator in your opinion?
There's one thing at the top, and then from that one thing, there's a couple of the things that are able to be produced from that. But a lot of the times people look at this stuff, but this stuff isn't, it's not there without this number one thing at the top. What is that? Action, taking action. You know, that's the number one thing, right? It's taking action. If you don't take action, I could be sat, I could have, I don't know, Jeff Bezos' brain, right?
Yeah.
But if I never took action on that, then I'm just, or somebody else never took action on that, then they're not going to go anywhere, you know? Like they could have all the knowledge, but then they're not going to do anything because they're not taking action. So that's the number one thing, taking action, taking consistent action over a long period of time. That's basically it. And by taking consistent action over a long period of time, what then stems from that is being able to evolve and iterate, right? And look at things and not get deluded into, take action, just keep doing the same thing over and over again, right? I'm pretty sure it was Albert Einstein's definition of insanity was, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. I think it was Albert Einstein who said that, and it's so true. You know, if you just sit there all day doing the same email outreach, you've sent 900 emails, you've got no responses, no booked calls, but you're like, no, I'm taking action. Like that's insanity, you know? So it's about taking consistent action over a long period of time, but also from that action, you're going to collate data, and it's about iterating on that data, making new iterations and evolving as an agency owner overall, but also evolving your email outreach methods, your service delivery methods, your team building, the specific stuff. And I would say the other one is about setting goals as well. Having something to strive to, like having something you want to get to, maybe if you're just starting out, that is to substitute your job income with an agency income. That's what you're getting to. You're going to get there eventually if you implement everything in you consistent action and whatnot. So having that goal, but then understanding that, okay, now I need to change my goal. So now maybe once you hit that goal, then it's to make 10K a month, right? And then once you hit that, it's about changing that goal to get to multiple 6 figures a year,
Don't get complacent.
Yeah. I think that's super important. So you've always got something that you're going to, and you kind of never get there, which for me personally, I like, because I know I'm never going to stop, if my ultimate thing was just to be comfortable and not have a main job, there's no way I'd keep doing what I'm doing. I'd have like 2 clients probably and just, whatever. So that's kind of my main things for mindset and being able to keep going and whatnot. I'm not that big into, you guys know, I'm not a big advocate of like, what is it? No, I think I'm pretty positive, but what is it when they, when people say like, affirmations, like I'm amazing and I'm beautiful. I'm not a big fan of that. I like the black and white stuff, like things that are actually going to move the needle forward. I feel like if I tell myself I'm amazing every day, the needle's not going anywhere, But if I take consistent action over a long period of time, that needle is moving, So for me, that's what I look at when I think of motivation and mindset and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities from a book I read called by David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me. I think it's like, might be a paraphrase or something, but he says something like you're either getting better or you're getting worse. Basically, you don't have the option to stay. You're not staying in the same place. You're either getting better or you're getting worse, and that's really the same.
It's the same idea as The Slight Edge, which is another book which covers that kind of concept. You're never going straight. There's always a slight edge. It's either up or down, but eventually, like, that compounds, either way. So yeah.
Okay, sweet. So another question. I haven't created a website yet, and I really wanted to just ask because obviously I'm focused on outreach and not inbound at this point. I was wondering if I could create a professional looking website on either one of these other platforms, such as WordPress, which is a lot cheaper, but it shows that, my company has an actual website. You know what I mean? It just gets that down packed. So I didn't really want to get ClickFunnels straight away, only up until the point, let's say I get to 10K per month, then I can start doing like the Facebook posts and having that structure.
Yeah.
Because on WordPress, I don't know if it has buttons or anything, but I can actually have like case studies on there.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I can't help you in that arena. I've never used it. But that's fine as well. I mean, dude, you don't need a website. So to have something, it's better, obviously, but you don't actually need a website. So if you've got something,
that's just one.
I think.
Yeah, it's just one concern I had, because I try and look at my outreach and my agency as an outsider. Like, would I give this person the time of day? Like, if he didn't have a website, if he doesn't have a professional Facebook like you, obviously in the Quantum Leap program, I think one of your lectures, you literally cover like pave the path, for the inbound leads. When they go to your page, they see what you're doing, what you can do. And it's almost just like tailoring the path, like you said.
Yeah.
And with a website, that just gets the message across and just shows them that you're serious. And that's sort of the message I want to go for.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you think WordPress will do when until I get to a point, and then I can start with ClickFunnels? Because I think for a lot of people, obviously if you're on a budget, like $100 per month for a website is quite a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's other pages as well, other ClickFunnels variants as well. Definitely look into those. I've never used them. I know they're good softwares. I don't know the pricing of those. Definitely have a look into those. But yeah, it's not that ClickFunnels is the be all and end all. It's just what I use. It's where everything's housed. And I agree, $100 a month just for a website. There's probably cheaper options, but when you actually start using ClickFunnels for everything, $100 a month is so good. Like, I've got my case study funnel on there, I've got my website on there, I've got my onboarding, I've got a bunch of other funnel templates that I use for clients, webinar funnels. All this stuff is housed on there for like $100 a month, $140 Australian. Yeah, it's so good. But for sure, if it's just your website right now, there's definitely other variants. I would look into the other variants of ClickFunnels though. There's like other like lead pages and stuff like that, because you can actually house, if you find another one that's like maybe $49 a month or whatever, you'll be able to house your onboarding process on there as well. So it's not just your website.
Yeah, I was having a discussion with one of the members within the group. Actually, he housed his website and onboarding process and all of his other resources on WordPress. He just linked his domain. But I just don't think, until you've got a client, I just don't think it's practical, because let's say it takes you like 3 months to get a client, not saying your website is the driving force behind getting a client, because obviously outreach, not inbound. It's like $200-$300 just coming out without, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've used ClickFunnels before, so I know how to use it, which I'm quite fortunate to have that experience. And like you said, you get all the features which ClickFunnels has, and you can have, I think, up to, is it 10 funnels for $97 per month? Something like that.
On ClickFunnels?
Yeah.
20
I think
funnels.
it's 20 funnels. Yeah. So yeah, even better.
Yeah. But look, I mean, Reggie and Blake said about Squarespace in the chat there. Squarespace is a really good one, and it's cheap. You can have everything on there, you know. So there's a bunch of other stuff, dude. Most definitely just do a bit of research, see what looks best, and leverage that for sure.
Okay, sweet. I think that's pretty much it.
Cool, man.
I sort of just like a question, just like not even written down this one, but what was like the point? Because obviously, your potential is unlimited in the sense like your mindset, your physical, obviously like your whole ability as an agency, like you're evolving. I was just curious as to like, what was the point you got to where your life didn't change? Or maybe it has changed, like, if you know what I mean, like in terms of financially and mindset wise. Obviously you're physically evolving as an agency owner, like it's never ending. But in terms of what point did you get to, you thought, I'm going to set higher goals, but where I'm at, you know, my life hasn't changed. I hope that sort of makes sense. That was just left wing.
No,
you know
it does.
I mean?
No, it does.
Because like, let's say someone who's making like $5,000 per month might just want to travel and maintain that level of income. Whilst like, let's say you, for instance, I know you say you're always striving for that next level. What, yeah, that's basically it. Like,
I know what you mean. So I would say, I would say once you've hit 2 months in a row of making 25,000, you have a very different perspective on money. At least for me, I did. So 0 to 10K, the biggest change you'll ever experience in your life. Everything changes. You go from, you know, you go from making whatever you're making at your job to making or making nothing if you've not got a job, to making either double what you were making at your job, maybe even more, or go from literally 0 to 10,000 a month, which is good money, right? So that's the biggest change. 10 to 20K a month is not as big as 0 to 10K, but it's still like, you know, you're making money at that point. Like you're making like, that's 240 a year. It's like almost $250,000 a year. That's what like some top doctors are on, and, you know, lawyers, and, you know, you're in that bracket then. So, you know, that's the biggest change for me, again, that I experienced. 25K a month. Then you hit it, you know, you hit it this month, 25K a month. Oh my God, that's amazing. Then you hit it next month. And then even 3 months, you hit it the month after. And then it's like, oh my God, like this is happening. This is what my life is now. And for me, it was about, you don't get comfortable, but you start to really understand the scale of it, and you kind of, your mind opens up, right? Because I know for me, when I was starting out, 25K a month, are you kidding me? I'm never going to get to that point. You know, it's just not going to happen. I see all these people online doing it, but for me, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. You know, to charge a client 6K a month, like, really? It's not going to happen to me, you know. But then it does start to happen. You start to realize, and as I say, once you hit it this month and then next month and month after, it's been 3 months, you made $75,000. It's like, oh my God. So I don't know where I'm going with that, but for me, you know, a direct answer to your question, 25K a month after 3 months, that's when money didn't change too much anymore, you know. And I don't want to come across as like I'm making all the money in the world, because I'm not, you know.
I know what you mean.
I'm not. There's people out there making $500,000 a month. There's people out there making $2 million a month. You know, that's crazy. And I guarantee you my life would change going from that, where I'm at, to that point. But you get what I mean, right? Being at like roughly on average around 50K a month now, my life hasn't changed this month making 50K a month as it did, you know, since however long ago, it was 6 months ago, whatever, that 25K a month was my hygiene standard, for example. My life hasn't changed, but my life had changed, even though it's the same amount, 25K, 0 to 25K, it was massive. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that was similar to one of the previous questions, like, well, it might even be the other way around, but action follows belief. And you said something like, people think, oh yeah, 10K for me per month, oh, I can't do it. And then obviously the belief ain't there, so they don't take action. And I think that's something which sort of relates to what you said, like believing you can get to that point. Because at the end of the day, if you look at the e-commerce space, there's so many businesses. You only need a few to be making like, well, double your income basically from what you're making at your job or whatever you're currently making. So it's pretty mad, really.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I was saying about like the affirmations and stuff like that. Like, I get it works for some people. I'm not taking anything away. And I think if you do it, that's amazing. But for me, I look at it like, you know, when I was at 0, like me telling myself, I know I'm kind of going to the extreme here, but you know, me telling myself that I'm amazing every day wasn't going to get me to 10K a month. But me taking action every day over a long period of time, consistently, and iterating on my on what I was doing and looking at the feedback and going through just a myriad of feedback loops consistently all day, every day, and actioning on that feedback, that got me to 10K. You know? So that's the stuff that I put on a pedestal. It's like me now with you know, me getting to 6 figures a month, hygiene standard, bare minimum, no matter what, 6 figures a month. Me like believing in it and you know, there's another thing that people do as well. Yeah, for me, like me just believing in it, like it's gonna help, and I need to believe in it that I'm gonna get there, because if I don't, then I'll obviously, you know. But for me, you know, in order for me to go from 50K a month to 100K a month, like I need more, you know, systems in place. I need more stuff in place in order to get to that point. You know, and that's what moves the needle forward for me.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you can't, you know, if you're not going to do all of that, if you can't at least see other people, like for me, seeing other people in those positions, I mean, that alone shows you, right? That shows you, okay, it can be done. Okay, perfect. I can see that it can be done. And you know, whether I 100% believe I can get there or not, I can see that it can be done, and I know that I can do it. It's just a matter of how and time frame and whatnot. And then see, most people then just fixate on that, whereas I don't. Yeah. That's my cutoff point, because then I transition to, okay, how am I going to get there? And that's what gets me there.
Yeah, perfect. Another question linking to that. Really wanted to pick your brain on like the kind of mindset thing, not positive affirmations or nothing like that. But
by the way, I apologize. Like, that's just my opinion on it. Like, guys, if anybody in here or whatever does that stuff and it works for you, I love that. That's amazing. But just for me personally, I don't do that.
So what sort of motivates you to do what you do, whether it getting clients, like amazing results, or you want to just really be in a better position than you already were? Or I see a lot of people, especially these like influencers, let's say like Ty Lopez or like The Rock, they sometimes elaborate on where they came from. What is your motivating force, if you like? Was it like, I don't know you as a person, but let's say, were you like bullied, or were you like always underestimated, or like, obviously you have like a lot of these successful people have this type of mindset which just pushes them to that next level, whereas everyone else, they're sort of making results but not to the extreme. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I was I've talked about this a lot, but yeah, I was severely bullied at school.
Yeah, same here, man.
Yeah, so that's what got me started in all of this. And that's what, got the ball rolling. And I suppose there was an element of that where it's like people didn't believe, and it's like, oh, whatever, he's not going to do anything, is he? You know, stuff like that. And I think that motivates me the most. It's not, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I rarely sit down and think about it. I probably should start, to be honest. But for me, I'm very results driven. That's like, I'm very, very results driven with the agency, with, this education program, with client ad accounts, and, managing the team. And, even if a team member asks me a question, it's like, well, for me, it's like, what's going to get the best results? I'm very results driven. So I think I'm at the point now where that's my main driving factor, is just results. But getting into it, getting the ball rolling, what really pushed me was the bullying. Yeah, for sure. Sure. I always felt like I needed to have something over them, because they always had something over me, always, so I needed to have something over them. And, the parents tell you, like, you're so much better than them, you're so much bigger than them. But being, 15 or whatever, I'm like, Mom, I don't care if I'm better than them. I'm not. They're just, they're ripping into me every day. They've always got stuff on me. I wanted to have something physical that I could just say, like, look, I don't care. And what's the one thing that everybody in the world wants? More money. They want to have a Lambo, they want to have a big house and whatnot. So that's, be very honest, that's what got me started. I wanted to have more money than these people so I could flex on them. That's literally why I started. But obviously it got to a point where that transitioned from that. But yeah, that's why I got started, dude.
Yeah, my question probably would have been phrased better if I just said, what's your big why? But yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I suppose with your old, because obviously with like the whole case study post on Facebook, and as I said earlier, like tailoring the path for the inbound leads, obviously your Facebook page is open anyway. So like if people, I don't know who does it, but people come to like search you up on Facebook, they'll see like, you're making it big, you're making progress, and people, I don't think people like, if your bullies come across you, they might not like it.
Oh yeah, I do. I don't care about them anymore though. I couldn't care less about what they think anymore. I mean, yeah, they probably think whatever they think, but to be honest, I'm at the point now as well where when people ask me about like what I do or whatever, like usually, or not usually, like previously, I would have been like, I'm doing this, I'm doing, trying to again flex. But now I just, now my go-to every single time, and I don't know why I don't like talking about it. I don't know. I just don't. I don't want people knowing, to be honest. I'd rather them not know. Outside people like my immediate family and whatnot, they know everything. But people who are like, a distant friend or a distant relative or whatever it is, I literally tell them like, oh, I'm doing my own thing. You say like, oh, that's good. Like, how's that going? I'm like, every time this is the line that I go to, I say, oh, it's good. I don't need to get I don't need to get a proper job yet. Yeah, I mean, it's going all right. It's, it's paying the bills. That's what I say every time, every single time. That's what I say. And then I move the conversation on, because I don't, and it goes back to now, I truly don't care what they think. I don't, some people are genuinely interested. They want to know, but then other people are just nosy, and it's like, oh, what are you doing? And they don't care. They just they're just nosy. Right.
I know what you mean.
For them, I just do my own thing, whatever. Like it's paying the bills. I don't need to get a main job yet. Anyway, let's move on. That's your go-to.
Yeah, a common theme I realized as well, especially, well, not for me, because obviously I'm nowhere near where you are or anyone else really, but people, when you have like your own thing going on, whether it's like, I don't know, drop shipping or you're trading or got an agency, they tend to ask you like what you're making. Whereas like if you haven't got a job, they don't seem to ever ask that. It's like when you've got something for yourself going on, they sort of almost like don't respect you as much as if you had a job, which is kind of ironic because in my opinion, it's a lot harder to start a business. They don't sort of, I wouldn't ask you how much you're making. Like, I know you're transparent, but like my family, because I've started this whole online marketing agency thing, I don't know, let's say my cousin, who I don't really speak to, just a random example, and comes up to me and says, "Oh, how much are you making?" It's just a bit, catches you off guard. Like, it's kind of like a different perspective the outsiders have on you when you start your own business.
Yeah, maybe it's the way that I answer that question, but I've never been asked by somebody like who of that nature that you're saying about, like people who you know, but like you don't ever speak to, people like that. I've never been asked that. Maybe you guys should start using the lines that I use. Like, I'm doing a little thing on the side. I'm doing my own thing. I'd say I'm doing my own thing. And I don't need to get a job just yet. It's, it's doing okay. For some reason that's what I say, and I've actually never been asked. That's interesting. See, Kareem, you've just said that people ask you that quite a bit. That's very, very interesting, actually. Because I never get asked that. But yeah,
I suppose I'm going to give myself some accountability here, but I've actually said, like, my goal is to hit 2K of my agency, and my family have said, "Oh, dude, that's a lot of money," when my real goal is 10K. So it's sort of, I wouldn't say manipulate, that's sort of a bad word, but sort of like saying what my goal is, but actually like, well, that's not a 10x, but almost 10xing it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sort of aiming for this, but I want to get to this level, but not actually telling them. It's just in your head.
Yeah.
Like for you, it might be like $1 million net profit. Whereas you might have just said, things are going well, just trying to pay the bills.
I don't tell anyone outside. Like as I say, I'm very, very close with my family, like my immediate family, my mom, dad, my brother. Like, we have the closest relationship. So they know, they know everything. I tell them, like, I'll be at $1 million a month. For example, if we're speaking about like, in 6 years or whatever, and I'll be 25, and I'll be like, God damn, I'll be at $1 million a month by then. I just tell them, but people outside, they have no idea. I mean, they assume that, and that's what I like, to be honest. Like, I let them kind of guess, with like my car and whatnot. I mean, it's so below my means, that car, it's ridiculous, but it's still a nice car,
What car have you got? I know it's an Audi.
Yeah, it's an Audi A5. It's a 2019 one. It's a lovely car. Like, it's really nice, but like in comparison to what I pay on that a month, I pay $1,000 a month for that. Like, but
smart move, really. Yeah.
That's why I didn't get anything more, because I want a nice car, but like, I don't like cars because you just obviously lose money. But it's still a nice car. Anyway, they look at that and they think, they're a little bit kind of thinking about it and whatnot, and it's a bit unassuming, I suppose. And that's what I like to be. Just unassuming. People may look at, and as I said before, like, I don't buy anything now for other people to flex on them. Like, for example, my watches or whatever, like half the people, or more, like 99% of the people who see the watch, whether it go around to someone's house or we go out or whatever, they don't know what it is. They don't know that there's like $25,000 sat there. They don't know that, and that's what I like, because I'm not buying it for them. But yeah.
I think another thing with that as well, I suppose it depends on so many variables. Like, I know certain cars, as long as they're kept in pristine condition, you could literally make money on them. But with watches as well, like for me, I do like watches. I love my cars even more, to be fair. But if I was to buy a Rolex, I'm not saying I would, but that could literally just be for investment purposes. I mean, I've seen some watches people just hold, don't even wear them. They're like, "Oh, look at this watch is my watch." They don't even have an idea of what it costs, like outsiders. But like you said, it's like 25k sitting there, but it goes up in value, like the watches and stuff.
They're good investments, watches.
Okay. That was pretty sweet. Thanks for your time, man. That was really appreciated, answering the questions for me.
Yeah, of course, man. No worries. Anytime.
Stay safe. Thank you.
Likewise, dude. We'll speak soon. Kareem.
Hey, Kai.
What's going on, dude?
For lead sourcing, when you come across those like brands in their ad library and you see they run like 1 or 2 ads, but they're not like normal ads, they're like ads to like a blog post or their Instagram, do you count that or not?
Good question. Good question, dude. I've never really thought about those. I usually just look at the ad library as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the problem I feel is like if I were to email them, I'd have to email them separately. They couldn't be part of like my Lemlist campaign, because if I send them an email about like how they can reduce their CPA with their Facebook ads, it wouldn't resonate.
Is every single one to their blog or whatever?
Yeah, they're running like 2 or 3 ads, and it's going to like their blog or like their Instagram.
Yeah, okay. In that instance, I would treat them as not running any conversion ads. Yeah.
Okay.
But if it's like if they're running 50 and like 5 of them are to blogs, I wouldn't worry about that. Okay. But if they're only running ads to a blog or something, I mean, there's obviously going to be a reason that blog must have a back end and whatnot, obviously, or whatever it is. But yeah, I would probably just treat them as not, because you'd still have to probably sell them on the idea of running direct conversion ads.
Yeah, like actually making money with Facebook ads and not just like
directly
brand awareness or getting more followers.
So I would treat them as not running ads.
Got it. Also, I had a question. Like, have you ever been on a sales call where like energy just like it just shifted? Like, I had this call last week, and so I was from Facebook. Like he posted in this like group. He's like, "Hey, I'm looking for an agency for my info product, etc., etc." So I connect with him. We talk a little bit. Then I try to get him on a call. He's like, "Hey, sorry, I'm forgetting my words." But I was like, "Hey, can we get on a call?" He was like, "Well, there's a lot of other agencies that I'm talking to. Do you have any case studies I can look at?" So I was like, "Can I ask you a question?" He's like, "Sure." And I was like, "How many of those agencies offer a guarantee?" And he was like, "None of them." And then I was like, "Well, we guarantee break-even ROAS within the first 30 days. You get your money back." And he was like, "No, that's very interesting." And right from there, like the dynamic switched, and like he was chasing me, trying to get me on a call. And then we get on the call, and it was good at first, but then once I like when it got to the end, he was like, after I told him like what we can do for him, he like he was like, "Okay, I'll think about it." And like he needed a funnel build, and I was like, "If you move forward today, I'll give you like 50% off the funnel build." So I was like, "It'll usually be 5,000, but we'll do it for 2,500. He's like, "I still want to think about it." And like I just feel like the energy shifted. Like he went from very warm to cold.
So what I would do is I would rewatch that recording and try and figure out exactly the line that shifted that.
Okay.
And yeah, I can't tell you why. Obviously,
Has it ever happened to you?
It hasn't. Not like that. No. Originally you were going to say when the energy, you were saying about the energy, and I thought you were going to say, have you ever hopped on a sales call where their energy was just terrible? And, to that, yes, I have. And they're very, very tough. My most recent client that I signed on board was actually exactly like that. And by the end of it, it was kind of how my energy is, which I would like to think is a bit more upbeat and whatnot. They're very tough, but yeah, I've never had it where I've said one thing and it's like bang, it's like perfect, and then they've said that thing and it's just dropped off a cliff. That's not happened. So I would try and you would have said something that just didn't resonate with him. Maybe it was, you know, for example, and may not specifically be this, but for example,
Yeah, I got you.
When you say about the 50%, we'll give you 50% off. Some businesses would rather you charge the 5,000, you know, and they're more, you know, qualified businesses and the higher level stuff. They would rather pay you 10,000 than 3,000. Like genuinely, as crazy as that may sound, they genuinely rather that because they value your service more than they value that $10,000. So they're willing to pay a high amount for it, you know? So potentially that was the thing. And it was just like, oh no, it's cheap. That's maybe what he might have been what he thought, right? For example, so I would rewatch that sales call and really try and figure it out. And again, this is how we learn, this is how we can become better at ads. So I won't worry about it, but I try and figure out what it was.
Yeah, got it. He sent me like an email before the call, just giving me like some more context on where they're at. And he did note, like, he was like talking about the funnel build, and he was like, I want to stay away with the brand. I want to stay away with any like deceitful marketing tactics. So I take it that like he's not. So maybe like I don't know. Maybe he saw that as deceitful, like me doing like the incentive based pricing.
Potentially.
Just potential.
Potentially.
Do you ever do anything like that where it's like, oh, if you sign on today, I'll give you like a discount or not?
Yeah, we do. There is a couple like loops that we do and whatnot. But the main thing that I do always is just set an anchor, which we go through in the program. But to be honest, like if you actually look at it, it's not actually any cheaper. There's just a small hurdle that they need to jump over in order to get on board.
What do you mean by that?
So I always set an anchor before I state my price when they, you know, because you always ideally you want
okay. So you'll say like, okay, I got what you mean. So like you'll say like usually, like in that YouTube video you posted of the sales call, like what you did there.
Yeah. Yes, but you know, so I say, you know, and it's true. I used to just go only retainers, and those retainers ranged with the highest being 7,500, I think, 7,800, whatever it was, around 8,000. But I'm bringing you on board as a client because I can see that we're genuinely going to get you results, and I don't want a large upfront fee of 8,000 to push you away. So what I'm wanting to do is do 3,800 or 2,800 or whatever it is, plus 15%. So to be honest, I'm still going to be making that 8,000 or 10,000 or whatever it is, you know, if the client's of that level and it's one of those perfect clients, still going to be making that, you know, or maybe not the first couple of months, but I still have the capacity to make that, but it's just structured in a different way. So, you know, the answer to your question, do you ever say, I'll do this and kind of slice it in half? Yes, but not really.
Yeah. I got what you said. Yeah. I got what you mean.
Yeah. And honestly, dude, in order to sign these higher ticket clients, you need to actually charge more. As I say, as crazy as that sounds, it's actually going to help.
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't mind. Like, yeah.
Sorry?
I definitely don't mind charging more.
Wow. Yeah. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I was wondering about like, what more can I do to like move the needle forward? Because like, obviously, like I'm doing what I can with email, barring I don't have deliverability issues, and I try to write like at least 2 like long form posts a week. Like what more can I do to like fill up my pipeline?
I would get to work on those burner accounts. I would get those working. That gives you 2 more avenues that you can leverage. I would send a couple Loom videos a day. I would send a couple personalized emails a day, and really triple down on outreach methods. So not just email outreach, do email outreach and do everything you can there. Have three ad accounts, have 3 burner email accounts, and do everything you can there. Do your content. You can even start creating videos and start,
on YouTube.
Yeah, you could start creating videos on YouTube. Okay. Why not?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah. You can.
My only question though is like,
mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No, it's all right.
I just had a question. Like, are e-commerce owners like going to be on YouTube?
Yeah, for sure.
And are they going to be looking for videos?
Yeah, for sure. Just target it in a way that target it from an e-commerce. Tag it in a way, or from an e-commerce perspective. Like, what would they be searching for, right? And then you can also repurpose that on your Facebook. So you could do like. You could do like 2 pieces of content in groups a week, and then you could do, and you could put those on your personal page as well as like 3 videos a week or whatever it is, right? 3 clips a week or whatever. And that's just going to stack and stack and stack, and that's going to position you so much as an expert. You can also do not Loom videos. You can do some case study videos that you can list on your site as well. Yeah, dude, there's a bunch of stuff you can do. But just make sure everything that you do at the stage you're at is to get clients.
Okay. Let me write this down real quick. You said YouTube. Oh, and for the burner accounts, should I get like a different domain for each?
Just do it. Yeah. Well, just do, like, for example, like I said before, like my main domain is backconsulting.com. My burner accounts is backconsulting.info, .net, etc. .io, if you can get that and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you said YouTube, 3 burner accounts. What else?
Repurpose the YouTube onto Facebook as well.
Okay.
And maintain your Facebook content.
I did like a survey on my like Facebook. I was like, should I do like more posts? And people said, or video, and people said I should do more videos. Have you ever thought about doing videos, or like?
Have I?
Yeah, have you thought about it?
Yeah, I've got videos everywhere.
No, I mean like on Facebook.
Oh, no, I've not. Just because I don't do videos like that for the agency. I do more sales letter stuff. I am going to be doing more sales letter style videos. And I'm actually going to be writing a lot more sales letters as well for the agency. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I saw that video you posted like this week, like it's like kind of like a VSL.
Yeah, I just pulled that from the actual VSL.
Oh, okay. So like that's so like you posted that to like get clients basically, or like build your brand basically.
Yeah. It's just a video that I've got sat there. I was like, I should just post this.
Yeah. Do you feel like
YouTube pays? I've figured out YouTube pays pretty well, which is good. So that was like a long form video as well, on top.
What do you mean they pay pretty well?
Like for the ads.
Oh, okay.
Like AdSense. It's
okay.
Not too bad. Like, considering my following is tiny, like it's not a bad income that comes with it.
Okay. Do you like? Is there anyone in particular you like learned from to like how to grow your YouTube channel? Because if I saw one, I'm like pretty much like start. No,
I don't.
Okay.
I don't do anything to grow the channel. I probably should, because there's so much content on there and whatnot that like I know that once somebody the YouTube channel is kind of like a funnel,
Yeah.
Like once somebody like gets into it, like there's so much stuff there, but I mean it's not really a main focus for me, to be honest.
Yeah, got it. Do you feel like if like a potential agency client looks at your channel, you know, they watch the VSL, but then they also like look at your other videos and see how like you're teaching other people how to start agencies and like get clients. Do you feel like it could like rub off on them the wrong way?
No, I've actually
like
only heard good things from clients.
Oh, okay.
Mainly info product clients, because they like it. You know, it's
yeah,
because it's, you know, for an info product. But yeah, I've only heard good things. Maybe clients are holding stuff back, but everything that you know, because it is very public and it's very, you search my name and it comes up, right? Yeah, I've only heard good things.
Yeah, so like your e-commerce clients, like they know that like you teach other people how to start agencies?
Not everyone, but yeah, definitely some.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's all the questions I had, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
No worries, dude. Anytime. Speak soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Kung, looks as though you're the last one, dude.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you, dude?
I'm doing wonderful. Appreciate this, man.
Yeah, of course.
I wanted to kind of get your input on like some of the stuff that I've been doing for the agency.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now I'm like kind of I mean, I've got like the main stuff, foundation, but I'm kind of like trying to build the systems in terms of like prospecting. So I've got 2 lead sourcers on right now, about $25 for 100 leads each. And one of my first concerns is because they're generating pretty good leads. I've pretty much trained them now. So I'm getting about 800 leads a month that are all really qualified, really good brands.
Nice.
So my question is like, am I going to run out of like qualified companies in e-com?
No. And no, but also, I mean, if you're reaching out, make sure your follow-up processes are really on point with these qualified leads, because you don't want to just hit them up once and be like, oh, that's it. You know, make sure you've got qualification processes in place, not qualification processes, good follow-up processes in place. And also make sure that you're savoring those clients or those prospects that either email you back saying about emailing me in a month, or not just yet, or you hop on sales calls and they're like, no, not just yet. Or, you know, make sure you save those, because it's not a hard no. It's just that for whatever reason right now they can't move forward. That doesn't mean to say in 6 months they can't.
Yeah.
You know, so make sure you're doing that. If it's too much, just take that 800. I mean, 800 leads a month is a lot. How many VAs did you say you've got right now, or lead sources?
I just have 2.
I mean, yeah. So you could technically take one away if it's too much, right? And you've still got 400, and it's better for you to make as much from that 400 as possible than have 800 and be like super overwhelmed. Not saying that you should, you know, not saying that 800 is bad. That's amazing, but just make sure that you're making the most of it is my point.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. Cause I know, you know, every people are like 25 to 30 emails a day. That's how much you should be sending. But like, you know, I'm currently at about 10 to 16 emails a day, but I don't write those emails anymore per se. Like I have somebody who writes the emails for me. Yeah. And I just like finalize the emails so that it kind of saves me a lot more time.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing about 16 emails a day. I'm trying to get into 25, 30, eventually up to 50. So like if I'm doing 25 emails a day, and these are like initial emails to like individual companies, and I do have like I have like a 4 email sequence. So it's like intro, then 3 follow-ups. That'd be like 25 initial emails a day times 30. That's like 750, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to know if that was like too much.
No, I don't think it's too much. Just make sure that you're constantly iterating on your approach.
Mm-hmm.
Super important. Like, I don't know if you're in the call earlier when I was talking about, you know, just being deluded, you know, don't just stick to that one approach and just like keep sending 800 emails every single month. And it's like, you know, I'm reaching out to 800 brands every month.
Yeah.
You know, like just make sure that you're iterating on your approach based on the data, because you'll be collating a lot of data. So make sure you're optimizing your approach. You're testing new things, seeing where the bottleneck is, because if you're not getting booked calls, there's going to be a bottleneck somewhere, and you need to identify that and remedy it and figure out why, and launch, you know, or do, you know, figure out why, and then launch a test based on your findings, and then see how that goes, and keep going through that process. And eventually you'll come with a perfect outreach process. And
Yeah. What about like, okay, let's say a media buyer, right? Because I have a media buyer on my team. She's actually really good. I signed her. I brought her on about like maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, I believe. So like, what do you think is like? Because I told her, you know, I told her we're gonna bring you on for our next client that we sign, but and she was like, you know, I can handle unlimited clients, realistically like 10 to 15. So like, what do you think is like the longest like she might be willing to wait? Because assuming I still keep in communication with her.
I don't think there'll be a time like she'll only wait 2 weeks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't yeah, because she won't be banking on you, you know.
Yeah,
she'll probably still have other clients or whatever. But it's just good to get that in place. But dude, as you know, if you're reaching out to, what did you say, $750 a month? Like,
that's the goal. That's the goal. I'm at like 16 emails a day right now.
Okay, yeah, that's the goal, but you'll get there pretty quickly, right? So, you know, if you're doing that and you're, as I say, you're really, really working on your approach, getting one client, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Can I get like kind of your like idea on some niches?
Say that again, sorry.
Can I get your idea on like some like good niches? Because I'm trying to avoid clothing and fashion and like makeup, but I have one of my lead sourcers, because like early on I figured out that there's a problem with, you know, like making sure the leads don't get duplicated. So I have one lead sourcer, you know, trying to have I have been prospecting in baby brands, food and beverage, and I think like kind of like more family stuff. And then the other one is more into technology, outdoors, and like I don't know, like phone accessories, stuff like that. What are like some other good niches?
Did you watch the Identifying the Perfect Sub Niche module?
I did, but it's been a while. Sorry.
I would rewatch that and just really understand what I'm saying in there, because you'll figure out that I'm not a fan of sub niches. Like, what are the best sub niches to target?
Because I've heard definitely
we have a couple that we steer clear of, but apart from that, like, we don't work with a specific sub niche. And it's the one question that I'm not saying to you, like, don't ask me, I don't like it, but it's just like, I don't like thinking in terms of sub niches. I don't like that question, you know, because it just there's so many things wrong with it, you know. And as I say, just rewatch that Identifying the Perfect Sub Niche module and really understand the point that I'm getting across, and I think that'll really help.
Okay. What about like taxes, man? Like, do you like for your team, do you like, how would you structure taxes? Like, do you have to worry about that? Or should I just hire somebody long term to figure that out?
I would just, I would just find a good accountant in your area. I've got a killer accountant, and I just give them everything. I know what I can put through the business and what I can't. I try and push for certain stuff, you know. Obviously the team and whatnot, for me, it's a complete tax write-off. I don't know a lot about it. I don't do a lot for it. I just palm it off to my accountant. It's the best thing to do. Like, you know, I'm not saying you are, but like, you don't want to try and get away with certain stuff and whatnot. You want to try and do everything as obviously push the boundaries as far as you can, but make sure it's legal, and it's through a good accountant who's been checked before. The guys that I go to, like, they're amazing, but they've been checked so many times in the past every time, you know. So you're in safe hands, you know.
Yeah.
That's literally as far as I go with tax and stuff.
Okay. No, I was trying to think. I think I had one more question. No, I think that's it. Appreciate it, man.
Cool, man. No worries at all. Mike, sorry you had to leave. Did you answer a question from the chat? Yeah, I did not actually. So you're getting a lot of logistical objections right now because of people telling you that they have work to do before Christmas. Because they have work to do before Christmas. The biggest objection that you'll find in Q4 is that people want to get started in January, want to get started after Christmas. You want to try and push before, like, for example, they've not locked in yet, but I'm like 95% sure that they will go through. Like today, I was pushing to get them on board before Black Friday. So you can use the same kind of idea, like push to get clients on board before Christmas because of Christmas sales. You know, majority of brands, it's going to make sense for them to have a Christmas sale. So you want to try and push because you can kind of leverage the fact that, like, it's the biggest time of year. Like today on my sales call, I pushed because I know that Black Friday for every single one of our clients is the biggest time of the year. So, you know, it's stupid for us to not leverage this for Black Friday. We need to try and push, which obviously got things rolling quicker. That's kind of as far as you can go with it. Sometimes they genuinely can't start till January. Other times it's just the fact that they want to just taper off for Christmas so they've got more time with their family or whatever. Either way, get a follow-up call booked in. The best thing you can do, if you can't push and get them locked in beforehand, just push and get a follow-up call booked in for January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Push for that. And yeah, that's as much as you can do. Put them in a CRM, make sure, you know, because they may not show up for that call because it's after Christmas and whatnot. So then you can follow up with them. But yeah, go push to get them on beforehand by leveraging the fact that it's sales and you don't want to miss out. And then, yeah, filter down. Reggie, with the burner email accounts, do you mean sign up to more in G Suite? Yes, correct. I created my .net.info I just set up a new domain in Gmail, G Suite. Mike, again, did you think about putting that video on LinkedIn? Would try that out. Yeah, so I've started posting a little bit on LinkedIn. I'm very naive when it comes to LinkedIn. I've never leveraged it a lot, but I'm trying to get into the process of it now as well, just as another medium. Alex, what is burner accounts do you have to create them outside of your main domain, pay for more domains? So burner account is just one that it's not your main one, right? So my main my main domain is baxandsalting.com. That's where everything is, you know, that's the business, right? But then I've got these other accounts that are .net.info and they redirect to baxandsalting.com. But, you know, for example, if one of those gets put into spam, I don't care because it's not my main account. It's just a throwaway domain is another term for it, right? So you want to create those and you want to create those for once you've kind of, you've tapped out your current outreach and you want to try and push for more, but you're already at 30 a day or whatever, you can start to inject these burner accounts. And yeah, it's just a new domain through G Suite. Kung, real quick. Oh, so you remembered, what's a good minimum monthly revenue for a qualified ecom lead? Ideally, you want them to be 30K and above, but there's a lot of instances. Well, not a lot. there's a handful of instances where, you know, a brand can be below that and they're still a good fit because of the you know, they're not running any ad, you know, if they're not running any ads, but they're still pulling in 20K a month. I mean, that's still a good lead, but ideally, I would say 20 to 30K a month is kind of bare minimum. Sebastian. So we go Sebastian and then Kareem, and then we'll wrap it up there.
Yo, perfect. First of all, thanks for all the value you provide also in this call, and also especially with the motivational stuff, you know, with the mindset stuff. It's just cool to see that you care so much about the community, and also when I post something, nobody's commenting, you are the one who are commenting. I really appreciate that much.
Goes back to being results driven, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm results driven. I want, you know, you guys to be results driven as well and get the best results possible. And I know that, like, the way that that's going to happen is this 3-hour call every week, every Friday for me. Actually, yeah, I think it's Friday for everyone, right?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, no worries, dude.
No, for sure, 100%. And so regarding to my questions, the first question is regarding the client I've spoken about before. She said, I'm asking her how long is her pixel online. She said she is not clear about that, but they are running like the past 180 days and retarget and custom audiences. So is it also possible to choose the last 180 days and they only had the pixel on like the past 30 days?
Is it possible to retarget 180,
but you only got data for 30?
That's only been installed for 30 days.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I'm almost certain. I don't see why it wouldn't give you an error. The only error you'd get is if you do like 181 and above, it will say it has to be 180. So it wouldn't give you an error. It just wouldn't target. Obviously, it would only target who's been on the pixel. But sure. Yeah, you're fine with that.
Okay, cool. And so with let's say, you know, I'm sending an email out and people are watching it. Like I had someone who is watching my email 14 times. You know, I sent a retargeting loom and they're just watching a retargeting loom and not responding at all. Would you follow up with another email or just let them run?
I just send a breakup email.
Okay, so what are you discovering in this email? Because, you know, in this email, I say kind of things to touch on what things will increase, you know, when we hop on with them in a call, you know, which things to discuss and which things we see they can change in order to get a better ROI.
So you say that in the Loom video and they watch it a lot, but they don't respond still?
Yeah, they watch it, but they didn't respond either. So would you send something after that or just, you know, let them run?
And how many emails do you do at that point?
At this point, you know, it was only the first email because I thought like 14 opens and my track is really good.
Send your send follow-up emails until you get like to 4 or 5 emails, and then, you know, at that point, if they're still opening a bunch and like they're super interested, they're just not biting the bullet for whatever reason or responding, you can just send a breakup email at that point and just say like, look, this is going to be the last time I message you. I apologize if I've been annoying, but I can just very evidently see that whatever, you know, you can really benefit from this or whatever. So I'm going to leave one last time, you know, here's a scheduler to book in a call. But with that being said, if you don't decide to book in a call, I completely understand and I wish you the best. And then that's it. That's genuinely it. But it's a breakup email. And a lot of times they'll be like, oh, no, don't go, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for that. And so my last question is, you know, I've sent out in the German market 200 emails per month, and I'm currently 10xing with 2K per month. And I'm also currently warming up my other domains, you know, my burner accounts. And I feel like with my first 100 I've sent out, or now 150, I only booked one call out of it. I mean, the open rates, you know, went down and up, like one time 50, then 80, you know, it kind of depends. But you may shortly send you over my email.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Yeah. Here it is.
Hey Vicky, I have to say it is amazing that 90% of Lily Lolo's products are vegan friendly. This is a great way to appeal to many. We focus on increasing conversions of Facebook ads, and just recently we were able to increase the invested money of an e-com store in your niche by 400% within the first week. We'd love to see if we could do something similar for you. Are you free next week for a quick call? Yeah, I like it. Very poignant, very just black and white. I like that. You could maybe reword that middle section where you say we focus on increasing conversions, just in a bit more of a sexy way. Again, you know, we focus on increasing conversions of Facebook, increasing conversions of Facebook ads for e-commerce brands where you know, we slice a CPA in half or whatever, or we, you know, add an extra 750,000 you know, ARR to ecom brands bottom line each year, you know, something like that. It's just a bit more, oh my God, like a more of a bold claim, like real bold. And then you can mention, and we actually did this for one of our clients where we increased their, you know, their return by 400% or their ad spend by 400%. Would you be interested in seeing a case study of this nature? Something like that. But yeah, overall, it's pretty solid email. Maybe, you know, the only other thing I could say is potentially switch up the CTA. Instead of asking them directly for a call, you could ask them a question, or you could ask them for a Loom video or a case study.
Okay. So, and in terms of questions, what do you think about that? So, which question?
You can ask them, what is the current, what is your guys' current CPA look like? How is your current marketing going? Are you happy with your current marketing? Is it matching your expectations? Is it matching your vision? Is it in line with what you thought, you know, your current ads would be? You know, your current ads at the rate they're performing, is that in line with what you originally thought? You know, something like that, right? Just questions of that nature, just get a conversation going. It's just a different approach. You know, if you send 20 emails a day, you could send 5 with more of a question. You could send 5 with a Loom and 5 with booking a call and 5 personalized or whatever. You know, you can just change it up like that and just kind of see. But I definitely think you're at the point now where you can change it up and start testing a little bit more. You've sent 150, got 1 call booked. You got a call booked, which is good. But you could definitely start testing that up a little bit, changing that up a little bit, I should say.
Yeah, I love that. I really love that. Thanks for that. And could you repeat that short, please? And we're increasing for e-commerce brands where we cutting CPA in half, or what have you said before that? Because I love that.
Exactly what it said, but just stuff like that, you know, about this, you know, you could say we actually add 750K ARR to our clients, to our e-commerce clients' bottom line. And we actually did this for one specific client very recently. Using your example, you know, we actually did this for one specific client very recently where we was able to get a 400% return on their ads during the month of October.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So with 750 ARR, that's just like what you generated them out of there. But because I'm currently a bit confused, like the 400% was you generated them on their investment, and the 750K ROI is just what you have generated that company as an overall, or how can I look at that?
So ARR basically means annual recurring revenue, or you could just do AR, which is just annual revenue, right? And so, you know, that number can be derived from either an average of all your clients. If you've got a lot of clients to look at, you can kind of average out what you average, what you make your clients on average, purchase conversion value minus ad spend. That's going to give you a number. Average it out, right? And then times obviously that by 12, and then that's going to be the yearly. On average, you bring in a client X amount, so you can flex that in your email. Or if you've only got one client case study, then you can look at what you generated that client that month. If it was 50K, if it was 50K, you know, after ad cost, you could say something along the lines of, you know, this client, or we generate our clients, you know, 600,000 per year, or this client had a 600K per, or we added 600K per year, and in brackets you could do like run rate, right? So the run rate, if you was to keep that up, that's going to be 600K, for example.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Hey, Kai, really appreciate your time, your value. I'm happy to hop next week also on the call. Have a great evening. It's the evening, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks. Bye. See ya.
Speak soon. All right. Kareem.
Hey man, sorry, I just have one more question.
No worries, dude.
So how do you, on your calls, create that dynamic where if they say no, they're not saying no to you. They're not saying no to your agency. They're not saying no to your service. They're saying no to their goals and dreams. Like, how do you create that dynamic? Do you get the question?
Yeah. That's a tough one, honestly. I don't know. I think there's too much that comes into that to say that statement directly. You know, like, you know, if for example, if they're working with a current agency and they're not getting terrible results, they may say no to you because they don't see the value in you actually outperforming their current agency.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not them saying no to their goals and dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I'm saying more of like in the context, like let's say you have like let's say they're at 50K, they want to get to like 200K a month. And like they've been trying to get there, but they can't, and they need help. You know, with someone that like genuinely could help, like you genuinely can help.
Yeah, well, there's a couple ways to go about that. There's a couple near the mark ways to go about that, right? For example, as I say, I'm building out a new sales process right now. And one of the questions is, one of the questions is, you previously said the reason you jumped on this call is because of whatever that bottleneck, right? And for example, if their bottleneck is scaling, every time they scale, they hit a number or they hit like almost like a ceiling and everything breaks. They can't get past it, you know? So you previously said the reason you jumped on the call was because every time you scale, everything breaks in the ad account. And so you're almost handcuffed at 400 a day spend or whatever. So I'm curious then, you're currently at, 10,000 or not 10,000, you're currently at 50,000 a month and you want to scale to, 250,000 a month. So what's the, main reason behind why you want to scale to that level? Like, why don't you just stay at 400 a day spent? And these numbers may not make sense, but you get the idea. What's the main reason you want to stay at 400 a day spend? Like, why do you want to break through that bottleneck that you're experiencing, and why do you want to break through that bottleneck that you're experiencing and get to 250K a month? Why don't you just stay at 50K a month? So you ask this at the start of the call, and you can lightly leverage that at the end of the call when they're like, oh, this or that, I can't think of an example, but whatever their answer is, you can leverage that at the end of it, right? So you could say like, well, what about insert answer? What happens then? And just like let them speak, and you can kind of go about it in that way. That's probably the main way that I would do it. And the other way, if you've made a really so I hope that made sense, by the way. And the other way, if you've made a really, really airtight logistical case throughout the sales call, I would just ask them, like, look, do these numbers make sense to you? What we've gone through, does it make sense to you? Can you see and understand how we routinely insert your bold claim, whatever that is? Does it make sense how we're able to do that? Yes. Okay. What's the reason stopping you then? and they're going to say something like a smoke screen or whatever, but really get to that reason and figure it out. Honestly, most of the time they sell themselves there and then. Like they sell themselves. They're like, yeah, true. It does make sense. I can see why the pricing structure is, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. But also you got to remember that there is times where the problem that they're experiencing, whatever that issue is, the reason, because there's always going to be a reason they're on the call with you. There's going to be one main thing that they're either experiencing a huge problem or they want to scale this thing to the moon. Whatever that real issue is, sometimes it's just not a main issue for them. Sometimes it's just not priority number one. So that's another reason why they're like, yeah, okay, cool. Maybe they were just looking into it or whatever, but it's more of a back burner thing. They're not overly stressed about getting this sorted within the next like quarter or whatever. So you got to take that into account as well.
Yeah. Got it. Cool, dude. I appreciate your time. I know this is like 3 hours now, so like I really appreciate all the help you give us. Yeah, of course, dude. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. No worries, dude. Hope it helped. Cool. It looks as though that is everyone. Mike said quick. I will unmute you. Mike, you will be the last one.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, dude.
So I have a meeting next week with someone who's like selling beds or stuff for bedroom, which is like really high price for the online shop. It's like at 1K and above. Yeah. For like the beds they're selling. Is there potential with Facebook ads, or should I rather stay away from them?
Is it your first client?
Yeah, my first e-com client.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. It's doable, but it's going to be much, much harder.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it depends on how confident you feel. And it also depends on how they're currently going right now in terms of their proof of concept and whatnot.
Yeah, for now, they're not running any ads.
Yeah, but what's their income and whatnot?
Yeah, I didn't actually check the formula they filled out yet, so I don't know.
Okay, I would make sure that they've got a solid proof of concept, and if you feel confident, you can most definitely go for it. But just know that it's going to be hard. It's much harder.
Okay. So I'll get on the call and then decide whether or not.
Yeah, just make sure that you really break down their just diagnose their business and numbers point of view and whatnot. And if things look good, make sense, you feel pretty confident, take them on.
All right. Thanks for your time.
No worries, dude. All right. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I've got it on my whiteboard. I'm going to do a Loom video going through that ROAS calculator. Wasn't planning on, when I was creating it, I wasn't actually planning on providing you guys with it. I was going to keep it for the higher funnel, like all the other stuff. Not the higher funnel, the higher level program. Sorry guys, I'm quite tired. But I think it's going to be massively, massively helpful for you guys as well. Even if you're at 0 a month or whatever, you've not got a client yet, it's still going to be very, very valuable. Because it's going to help you make an airtight, logical case. When a client says about, we're already doing this, like, what you're going to take a percentage of what we're already doing. It's like, well, no, we charge a percentage of ROAS. That percentage of ROAS is genuinely what we've created. And actually, here's what it shows you. Here, I'll show you. I know I'll show you that tomorrow, but it's going to massively help. Put it that way, make an airtight logistical case for you, and it should help conversion rates as well. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to release that to the group tomorrow. Yeah, probably tomorrow. So keep your eyes out for that. Keep your eyes out for the uploaded this Q&A. I'm going to upload it to Teachable tomorrow as well, so it'll be in there. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I told you it was probably one of the most valuable YouTube videos that you're gonna watch, and I hope you do feel the same as well. I feel as though it's very, very important. We covered a lot, mindset, all that type of stuff. Truly hope you found value in that video, in that call. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, 20% off the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program. It truly is the leading ecom SMMA program in this space, right? As I say, $497, it's already severely underpriced, but due to very, very, very high demand, I'm running a 20% discount. Probably just gonna do this week only. So it's, it's gonna be up for a week and then it's gonna be gone. You'll never be able to join at this price ever again. It's gonna go back to full price, and even full price isn't true full price. But anyway, as I mentioned at the start of the video, click the first link in the description below. It's gonna take you directly to the enrollment page. From there, you'll be able to proceed to checkout. All discounts are automatically applied at checkout. You don't need a special code or anything of that nature. And so yeah, with that being said, I'm super excited to see you inside of the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program, and also I'll be able to speak with you on next week's Q&A call that we hold inside of the community. I'll see you there.